Two. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 in the place to be. Shaman RTP in the building. Know what time it is? Oh, wait a minute. We can't hear the applause. Here we go. What it do, people? What it do? It's your man RTP here in Computer and Red Podcast. Back, day off, chilling. Got nothing to do. Didn't feel like going in on the game. Ready did everything I had to do. Did my cooking. Did my laundry. Got the car at the shop right now, getting fixed up. Bored out my mind. So I said, you know what? Let's watch some people. You know what I'm saying? Let's make fun of some people. You know? Let's not really. Let's just react. I just want to react to a few things, man. And this is actually a video about Baker Mayfield that I wanted to react to a while ago that I never reacted to. Because again, right now, man, not gonna hold you. Right now, for the Bucks fan base, it's pretty dead. You know, there's really not much to talk about, man. We know, like, what do we talk about? The division. We know we're gonna win the division. There's nothing to talk about there. Who's the best in the South? We know the answer to that. Who has the best roster? Let's go position by position. We know the answer. Like, there's it's not much that Buck fans can talk about, you know what I'm saying, that we don't already know the answer to. The only thing that we can really talk about and debate about is, like, are we a first round exit? Are we a second round exit? Are we Super Bowl bound? Uh, just stuff like that. That it's matter of opinions. Um, but yeah, there's just a couple things here and there that we could talk about. But there is something that bugged me. We're gonna play it. Oh, that's not what I was looking at. What was I looking at? Was it this? No, was it this? Yes. All right, so we're gonna check this out real quick. Let's get to the screen. Should have saved, right? Because I'm like pretty sure it's not what I wanted either. Where is? I feel like that's not. Yeah, we'll just go like that. That might be. So let's go like that. Let's check this out. See what they got to say. Now, this is about quarterback. Because that's really.
Smooth taste,
I mean, when we talk about the team, we know what the team is.
Michelob Ultra,
Like a lot of
superior
teams, you
light
know what
beer.
the team is. The
Only two NFC teams have made the playoffs each of the last four
The,
seasons. The
um,
Eagles, the team we just talked about, and
the what's the word I'm looking for? The big factor is really the quarterback, right? Because the quarterback can make the rest of your statement about the team be true or be false. Let me see something real quick before we do that. I need some music. Free. Hold on, mess it up. One second. We're gonna get to it right now. And also, as you know, link is pinned, so anybody could join in if you want. Let's see if we could get this going. See if that's nice enough in the background. That's still loud. There you go. Okay. All right. We got our music in the background. So that'll work. So yeah, so we know what the team is pretty much. I mean, obviously, if you don't know, you can ask, come in the room, talk about it. Um, I keep saying every time I go live, I keep saying I'm gonna try to get on here more and more. That's just not the truth, man. I really just come on here now when I'm super bored, got nothing else to do, and I got a lot to do in my life right now. You know, I got business to take care of. I work out a lot now, so um, I'm kind of full. And then when I'm not doing that, what I do to relax is go play video games, and I haven't even been doing that a lot. So it's really hard for me to come on here and come stream because like I said, there's not much for us to talk about, and maybe when training camp comes, I'm probably gonna want to talk about a lot more things once training camp comes. Let's be honest, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm gonna make an effort to be on here all the time. And but if you do enjoy, for some of my people from back in the days, you know how we get down when we are on here. If you do enjoy, if you do enjoy here, right? If you do enjoy it here and know how it is when we get down and we talk and we conversate and stuff, then make sure your notifications are on and make sure you're here. Anyways, let's get to this, man. Let's get to Chris Sims. He's going over quarterbacks and he talks about Baker Mayfield, and there's just some things that kind of grinds my gear a little bit that we got to talk about, right? So let's listen up.
And the team with our next quarterback in the countdown. Thank God we're moving on. This is number 9. As high as he has ever been in the ranking for Chris Sims here.
Oh, baby.
Number 9.
That's right. Here he is. Yo ho, the Pirates' life for me. Baker Mayfield. And coming off that, we are in the pocket rocket stage, too?
Yeah,
Damn, we just keep adding to
this. Is a problem. Yeah, this is pocket rockets, which we looked back at the origination of that term.
Yes.
Was also a small car with a big engine.
Right. Yes, very good. Along with maybe some other meanings as well. But our meaning was football based, okay?
Yes.
And we are at a tier here with Baker Mayfield because, yes, he's a pocket passer with a rocket arm, and he's about as aggressive as there are as a quarterback in football right now. Throwing the ball down the field, highlight type of throws, nothing even close to a dink and dunk quarterback. That's what's awesome about Baker Mayfield. Sees the field really well, and for a guy that's not real big, the ability to hang in the pocket and throw high level down the field type of throws with ease is as impressive as
that part right there I have to disagree with. High level throws down the field. Don't know, and this is the thing I have with media, right? With the ESPNs and the NFL networks and whatever network they're on and stuff like that. They'll take a segment, have good stuff in it. And this is what people have to learn as they, get more and more into learning about football. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody learns about football. I'm still learning about football. Coaches in the NFL are still learning about football. It's the truth. You don't just know football. You got to learn. Football's evolving, which is why I hate when I'm having conversations with people and they act like, oh, this has been proven years ago. That doesn't mean anything now. Football's evolving. Things change. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. When you listen to this media stuff, they'll say some good stuff and then they'll start throwing in their own things that just sound good, right? Nothing wrong with saying Baker was playing at a high level, because Baker was playing at a high level, but then you say things like this.
The ability to hang in the pocket and throw high level down the field type of throws with ease is.
Then you say things like that, and it's like you don't know what you're talking about. You're putting dubs on 10s or 15s. Like, that's what we used to say back in the days, right? Like, you don't know what you're talking about, bro. You're exaggerating and putting extra and making people think extra of Baker Mayfield when you don't have to. Just say what it is. He played at a high level. Now, this isn't the problem. There's other things he's going to say that's going to be the problem as well, right? But this is just like right away, it's like you just made Baker seem like Baker can't do, or other people can't do what Baker just did. And that's just not the truth. Now, it's not to say anybody can get plugged in and do what Baker does, right? Especially at the production height. You see right there, it says what, 71 completion percentage, 265 yards a game is what he was averaging, 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. Now, even though 16 interceptions is kind of high, you don't want 16 interceptions. We want the 16 interceptions to go down. But even with the 16 interceptions, 41 touchdowns, that's not just something anybody can go in the NFL and do, right? So I'm not saying that anybody can come in here and do what Baker did. But when you play at a certain level of football, anybody at that certain level of football can come into the Bucs and perform that or even better. We talk about tiers, right? And I'm actually thinking about bringing back the tiers this year, right? Bringing back that tiers and listing the tiers. I might actually start doing a lot more tiers, because I think that's what this channel needs. I think that's what this internet needs, to be honest. A lot more tiers, like bring back tiers. And with my tiers, there's elite, great, good, average, trash. That's the different tiers, right? And Baker's not elite. Baker's not great. I think Baker as a quarterback is good. Now, the weapons that Baker has elevated him from good to great. That's what I truly believe. He played at times like a great quarterback. Never touched elite, but he played at times like a great quarterback, and that's because of the weapons he had. Once you took those weapons away, you saw a good quarterback, which was Baker Mayfield with K-Dot and everybody. Anyways, let's continue, because that's just a lot. That's a bit much. He's matter of fact, even in training camp right now, if you're a Bucs fan and you've been watching training camp or paying attention to training camp, what have you been hearing? Or not even training camp, OTAs, I'm sorry. If you've been paying attention to OTAs, what have you been hearing this whole time in OTAs? Who's the one hitting the shots over the top right now? It's Kyle Trask. It's not Baker. Baker's actually struggling with hitting over the top, and it's actually Kyle Trask. This was the same thing last year. Now, both Kyle Trask and Baker not last year, I'm sorry. The year before, when Baker and Kyle Trask were battling, right, for the quarterback one spot. All you heard was one day Baker Mayfield would be the better guy throwing over the top. Another week it'd be Kyle Trask throwing better over the top, blah, blah, blah. So both of them always had struggles hitting over the top. Baker's always had struggles hitting over the top, even his second year and last year as well. Baker's never been really good hitting over the top. The only time he hits over the top is when Mike Evans is there, and that's because he's a big body, bigger catch radius, easier to hit Mike Evans, right? Trey Palmer, the first year that Baker was here, the second year that Baker was here, Trey Palmer would take the top off consistently with 3 people guarding him, 2 people guarding him. This is why Trey Palmer is such a big weapon that we just can't unlock. I just don't believe we can unlock Trey Palmer with Baker Mayfield. Now, it's not a Baker Mayfield thing. We saw this with Jameis Winston, right? It's usually harder to hit the fast guys over the top on stride, right? It's hard to get that chemistry and connection of that super fast guy over the top. But yes, that is a problem that Baker Mayfield has. So to sit here and act like this man was doing things throwing over the top that most people can't do, it's a lie. What happened was Chris Sims's people went and looked up stats and said, oh, talk about this, talk about that. There's probably stats to show that he has a good percentage when throwing down the field. His percentage might be better than other people throwing down the field, not realizing that it's Because it's Mike Evans, because he's throwing to Mike Evans, and Mike Evans is just completely open. Or he's just a big body and bodying people over the top, or whatever it is, leaving people in the dust or whatever. But when it's everybody else, he can't hit the throw down the field. He just can't. When you talk about being able to have over the top talent, right?
The ability to hang in the pocket and throw high level down the field type of throws with ease is.
And then he adds with ease, like he easily does it. Oh, it's a layup for Baker. Not even close. You know who that described? Brady. That was Brady, what he just described. Hanging in the pocket, throwing over the top, high level throws with ease. That was Brady. Whether it was Mike Evans, whether it was Chris Godwin, whether it was Gronkowski, whether it was Scotty Miller, he was dropping it in the bucket with ease, right? That was Brady. That's not what we have with Baker. What we have with Baker is Baker throwing, scrambling, sometimes staying in the pocket, hitting Mike Evans over the top. Anybody can do that, but he's making it seem like Baker was just on fire, hitting everybody over the top. That's not we actually struggle. A matter of fact, that's what our team, coaches and everybody have been talking about this OTAs, is trying to get better hitting those high level throws over the top, because we're not good at it. We're good at explosive plays. A lot of it is yak. A lot of it is 10, 15 yards, and then they break and make a run type of explosives. But hitting over the top, we're not good at. So, again, false narrative. Let's continue.
Is as impressive as it gets. I like watching Baker Mayfield play. There's no doubt about that. He's got some different arm angles, okay? He's got every type of club you need in the world as a thrower. He can do all of that.
That's false as well. I've said it many times. I don't know how many times I have to say it. He struggles with corner routes. He's scared to throw corner routes. This is why he does not hit Chris Godwin on stride like that. He might hit Chris Godwin on stride with an in route or an out route. He will not hit it. I won't say he will not, because even sometimes he will hit him on a corner route as well. But that's not his thing. He struggles with corner routes. Especially if it's skinny. He'll struggle with a corner route. You know, that the routes to the sideline. He struggles with it. Now, it doesn't mean he can't do it. Not saying he can't do it. Just saying he struggles with it. And again, I'm not bringing this up for an agenda. I'm not saying all this to say, oh, get rid of Baker. I'm not happy with Baker. I am happy with Baker. Let's go on this Super Bowl run. I think we could win a Super Bowl with Baker. I am just saying this guy Sims doesn't really know what he's talking about. He's just kind of throwing things out there that sounds good, which is what most of ESPN and NFL Network and to be honest, a lot of content creators in this space, they do the same thing. They see a stat, they say what sounds good with the stat, and they just throw out things that sound right that they're just really making up. They really didn't watch film to say, oh, you know, he's really good at doing this. They didn't watch no film. They just got stats. Someone gave them some stats, or they found some stats off, and they're saying things that sounds good to them. So let's keep it going. Oh, we off today. Shout out to Rashad West in the building. Let's go. We off today. That's what I like to see. Let's go. Let's get it. Come in. The link's in the description. Come in and chat it up if you want.
Are there times where I think he reaches back and throws it too hard, or reaches back for more and loses control of the football? I think I've said that in years past. I still think that happens to him from time to time.
It's called accuracy.
Okay. But all in all, this is one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the game right now because of the mindset, because of I'm going to stay in the pocket and I'm going to look to strike downfield to Chris Godwin or Mike Evans. That's the big thing. And then the offense around him does fit his skill set. And that's why you like watching Baker Mayfield. But, hey, what he's done on the heels of Tom Brady and taking over, and they were supposed to fall off.
Definitely agree with that.
And, of course, that year he had where he was on the Panthers and then the Rams and all of that, to get to Tampa and just basically take over that organization and be the man, I think it just speaks not only to the talent he has, but to the man. And, again, here's another guy that we just talked about, Jalen Hurts, where I take this into account. Leadership, his toughness, his grit. The things he does on the field, it energizes the football team, and there's something to that too. That
I will definitely agree to that as well. That wasn't an easy job, right? Taking over after Tom Brady. That is definitely not an easy job. Now that is something, excuse me, that is something you can definitely sit there and say not a lot of quarterbacks can do that. And that doesn't matter what level of tier you're in. I don't care if you're an elite, good, great, whatever. That's a whole mentality situation that you just got to overcome because you're taking over for Tom Brady. That I will give 1,000% credit to Baker Mayfield, because that is not easy to do. People have heard my whole situation with Kyle Trask and what I believe about the future in Kyle Trask. Whether you disagree or agree, doesn't matter. The point that I'm talking about right now is I honestly do think this is the best situation for Kyle Trask. Let Baker take the heat off of the whole Tom Brady situation, straight up. And Baker was the man for that. So shout out to Baker.
Baker Mayfield has great magic in that
I
department.
mean, I said this last year about Baker Mayfield. If you took the 10 plays in the NFL last year, they were like, "Whoa, wow! I can't believe that happened." I think Baker Mayfield's got as many as any player out there. I mean, Lamar Jackson's up there, but I think Baker, he makes some plays. We were like, "I can't believe he just made that."
Definitely.
play.
I mean, he had a few of those scrambles during late in the year where he bounced off people and got up and went crazy, where you went, "Oh my gosh, what a way to jumpstart your football team."
Yeah.
Also, I don't think you're far off from what you're saying. If you went in the pocket with wow throws, and said, "Let me see some of the best 20-plus throws of the year in the NFL," Baker Mayfield would have a ton of them. That's what's awesome. Now, that's also sometimes his negative. Sometimes he just can't get off that guy.
So 16 interceptions last season, tied for the most in the NFL with Kirk Cousins.
Now, I do agree with that. I don't know to what extent, because even though I feel one of the biggest weakness of Baker might be the biggest weakness of Baker. I think it is the biggest weakness of Baker, is his accuracy. It's his accuracy, period. Whether he missed a guy, whether he had the guy, he just didn't put it in the right place. It's by far the accuracy is his biggest weakness. This also goes into why we have problems being explosive over the top, is besides if it's Mike Evans. This is accuracy. Now, with that said, there are a couple of throws that Baker made last year where I was like, oh my God, that was beautiful. And for some reason, I keep thinking about J-Mac. There was a lot of Jalen McMillan throws where I was like, oh my gosh, what a throw. What a freaking throw by Baker. There was a good amount last year of that. So I do agree with that. Now, here's the thing. A lot of it has to do with Baker doing something with his legs and then making the throw. They just made it that much spicier, that much ooh. It wasn't so much. And again, even though the throws were perfectly and dotted up nicely, the whole, like, for instance, Brady, right? Scotty Miller in the Green Bay game right before halftime. I mean, there's that one. Brady, Scotty Miller, if you remember that throw in the Raiders game, right? Oh, that was like one of the most perfect throws I've ever seen, right? It's not, when we talk about Baker, it's not so much that type of, oh my God, what a dot, perfect throw, even though there is, some here and there of that too. But most of it is because when you're talking about those perfect dots, it's usually because there's a defender right there and you just put it in a perfect place where defender had no shot, and it was still, you couldn't have handed the ball off to the wide receiver any better than that with a defender there. Now, there's not necessarily those type of throws, but there are somewhat type of throws like that. But most of the throws where I'm like, oh my God, that was a nasty dot, there's usually a good amount of space from the defender. But still, you still give him credit. It's still good. So it is what it is. You take it.
Because that's sometimes his problem. It's just over-aggressive. Like we know from all big-arm quarterbacks, that first read. Wait, he was open in practice all week. He's going to be open. Let me pat the ball. He's about to come open. I want to throw my rocket in there. No, he's not going to be open. Get out. Get off of it. Or don't try to just force it in because he was open all week in practice. That's where you get into Baker Mayfield.
Now, he's saying something negative about Baker Mayfield. And guess what? I disagree with that too. I don't think Baker Mayfield sits there with one read and like, no, come on, and he'll still throw it anyways. I don't think Baker does. I've never really watched tape, and especially of last year, and Baker do that. Baker goes through his progressions. He never really one reads and just sits there and stays on them. Now, I have seen him go through his progression and then be like, I don't find anything, and then go back to Mike and just like wait for him to be open, or go back to Chris Godwin and just expect him to be open, waiting for him. Come on, I know you're gonna get open, and then he just has that happy feet and throws it anyways, and it never got open. I have seen that, but he's making it seem like sometimes Baker just watches one guy and it's like, the whole no. Baker usually goes through most of the time, if not every time. Baker goes through his progressions. I can't really recall a time where I've seen Baker say hike and he just looks at one guy, and that whole possession he watched that whole one guy and just throws the interception. I hardly ever see that. I have seen him stare at a guy and then throw the interception, but it's usually after going through progressions, and then he's like, well, everybody's covered, let me just wait for this one guy to open. And I've seen him do that. So again, I'm not sitting here just disagreeing because he's giving Baker too much love. No, he's saying bad things about Baker that I don't disagree either. Again, I think these people just say things that sound
good. A little bit of his negatives, right? He is a smaller quarterback. We talk about this all the time. Size is a skill. So I think, too, there's times where, yes, maybe he can't see or throw over people the right way.
Just look at him. Just you can see his face and see that he's just thinking, what can I say that has to do with his height that just sounds good? Like you could see he's thinking of what to say.
Yes, maybe he can't see or throw over people the right way, but he's still kind of aggressive in doing that. I think that can lend itself to some of the negative plays from Baker Mayfield. But the negative plays I always see from him are usually from the over-aggressive nature of hanging on a guy too long, or I'm in the pocket, I buy time, I'm patient as hell in the pocket with people around me for a smaller quarterback. That's what's impressive about him. But then going, oh, wait, the pocket's closing in. Let me see if I can fit it in there. And it's just like, don't fit it in there. There's nowhere to fit that. There's three defenders, right? That's kind of his like kryptonite in his game right now. But you'll take that when he's making the amount of big-time plays he's
we're about to
making
get to
right
the
good
part
weapons
I really
too.
have a problem
Yeah,
with.
Chris Godwin, of course, Mike Evans, of course, but then Emeka Egbuka, who you were lower on, but lower on is like you don't expect him to be a number one, and he doesn't need to be with them. He can be a number 3.
No, exactly. Either way, I know he can play and play in the NFL for sure. And let me just say, like, you talk about the weapons, and they're good, but here's one where, like, I'd go, no. The quarterback's making the weapons look a little more weaponry than the weapons are making the quarterback look awesome right now. Okay, Mike Evans is damn good, don't get me wrong, but is he the Mike Evans 4 or 5 years ago that could just run by anybody in the league?
Yes. Yes, he is. That's what's impressive about Mike Evans. Yes, he is. He's still that same guy. Well, I don't know about this year, right? Because he has to prove it year by year. But last year, yeah. When you talk about he might be making these weapons look a little bit more weaponry, that's false. What are you talking about? Chris Godwin looks as good as he's ever looked. Mike Evans looks as good as he's ever looked. And they look the same as when Brady had him. What are you talking about? Trey Palmer looks good out there, and he's not even getting the ball from Baker. And I can see him winning. Rachaad White, I mean, he don't do nothing to make Rachaad White look good, but dump the ball down, and Rachaad White does the rest. Same thing with Bucky Irvin. There is nothing that Baker does that you can say makes these weapons look better than what they do, than what they really are. Period. That's the biggest problem I had with this. And again, they do this every time, and I don't understand why. Why do we have to do this? It don't make sense. Let's really talk football. Let's really talk football. Again, guys, hit the link. If you're in the channel, hit the link, come in here, talk some football. If you disagree or if you agree, give me your opinion. Put it in the comment section. But why do we have to diminish everybody just to uplift the quarterback? Especially when it's not true. They did the same thing with Mike Evans, Brady's last year. Oh, Mike Evans is old and slow. Chris Godwin never recovered from his injury. No. Brady was looking bad because Brady was bad. Brady's arm went. He couldn't throw the ball no more. But everybody fought with me tooth and nail. No, bro, your wide receivers got old. Your wide receivers got old. No, what are you talking about? They're looking the best they ever looked. They looked the best they ever looked. Matter of fact, that last Brady year was the best I ever seen Mike Evans. Like, I've never seen Mike Evans open that much. Ever. Now, most of it was because the NFL figured out Brady can't throw down the field, so they stopped doubling Evans a lot of times. Which is why Mike Evans had that game he had in Carolina, because they weren't doubling over the top of Evans, because they said Brady can't throw over the top no more. Now, Brady made him pay in that game, but it was rare, which is why the NFL was letting the top open like that. Which is why Mike Evans looked the best he ever looked, because I never seen him open that much. And Brady just couldn't hit him. So, and that year again, they keep, Chris is, he's never been the same since his injury. Mike Evans is slow now. They're even saying Scotty Miller was slow, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Or was it Trey Palmer? It was one of the fast ones that they were saying. They don't got no, like, what are you talking about? How are you going to say this guy's... No, it's Brady. He can't throw the ball no more. It was crazy. But they're always doing this. And then, now Buck fans think, it took a year for Chris Godwin to get back. No, because, his first year coming back with Brady, he didn't look the same. It wasn't because he was hurt. It wasn't because, I'm still not feeling 100%. No. Or was it with Baker? When they had, I think it was with Baker, when they were trying to say, Chris Godwin's not 100%. And Chris Godwin's wife had to be like, no, his injury is fine. Stop blaming his injury. It's not his injury. Then they were trying to blame, I think, Todd Bowles or something like that. Like, stop, bro. It's the quarterback. It's the quarterback. It's craziness.
Whenever he wants. No. Chris Godwin, hey, he's still damn good, but damn, he didn't play half the year last year anyways, right? They had to rely on Cade Otton, the run game, some other guys in the pass game to help them. And what happened when they did that? Nothing. The offense kept going because the big guy at quarterback, who's not so big, but you can't tell him that because I think he thinks he's 6'5", 255 the way he plays, right? He leads them. And
that was false as well. When Mike Evans went down, our offense went down every game. Our points per game went down every game. There was 4 games? Even in the game that Mike Evans went down, we were up 10-0 against the Ravens. Mike Evans goes down. I don't think we score again. I think we scored a field goal maybe. We don't score again. So I keep telling people Mike Evans is so crucial, not to the offense. Mike Evans is so crucial to Baker. Baker cannot perform at a high level without Mike Evans. He just can't. Mike Evans makes it so easy for Baker to perform at a high level. Without Mike Evans, Baker's just good. He's just a good quarterback. And that's it. And good as a quarterback in the NFL is not good enough. Not at all.
And he leads them with a fire and a chip on his shoulder that is fun to watch. But yeah, Baker Mayfield, definitely one of the most explosive arms in the game. Definitely deserves the respect to be called a top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now. Yo, homies, what's up? Thanks for watching.
I hate
Chris
hearing
Sims.
them say that. Yo, homies. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? There was 4 or 5 people watching. What do you guys think, man? Jump in the comment section. Jump in here. How you feel about what he said about Baker Mayfield? How you feel about what I'm saying about Baker Mayfield? Think it's right? Think it's wrong? What you think? We got trying to see. Trying to see if we got any other people live that we can take a look at and see Start talking a little bit about the Panthers and the Saints and the Falcons. Talk a little bit about Shador. Is what we really should talk about, some Shador situation. Because it's not a situation, but it is what it is. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see what this guy got to say.
Camp, OTAs, mini camp, soon to be training camp. If you want to see what your players are doing
What does
behind
it
the
say?
scenes, it's
Baker
right
Mayfield throwing lasers
here.
to
You want to
Brandon
see your
McMillan and
rookies, your quarterback
Ime
battles,
Ibuka
guys
at
who
Amarillo
drafted in
practice.
fantasy
Let's
football
see.
here soon. You need to know what
I
they're
never
doing on the
watched it,
field.
so
You want
let's
to
see
know
what
if they're
it
winning their
is.
job. It's right here. Click that button. Stop missing out. We're looking at Baker Mayfield today. 4.5 minutes of Baker Mayfield from this offseason. We're going to let it rip. We're going to keep talking ball. We're going to loop this like we always do. Here we are. A lot of this from the Bucs. A lot of this from beat reporters. Baker Mayfield. There are not many quarterbacks ever that's more enjoyable than him. Like that laid back, calm, just persona he got. There's Kyle Trask. And I remember the big debate was between those two.
Yeah, there's so like
But
nothing
Baker
to talk about when it
Mayfield
comes to these Bucks, bro. Which
a
is why I'm trying to get more
quarterback
people to
that
come in
the
here
Browns
and
screwed
just
up on.
talk about whatever they
That
want to
should be
talk
the
about.
Browns' all-time quarterback right there.
Comes to the Bucks.
That should be the Browns' guy. The Browns slipped up there. Now they got a four-way quarterback battle. Now we're watching them sling the rock. We got Mika Buka in the first round. We got McMillan last year. Godwin's back. Mike Evans still holding strong. If those two veterans can stay healthy, Baker Mayfield's going to be slinging it. And if Emeka Buka can really develop fast for a rookie, that's going to be huge for him. That's going to be huge. And McMillan had a good relationship with Baker last year. That's the thing about that. Had a good relationship with him. He was killing it in camp. We're going over the highlights and the clips. Killing it. Do not forget about him just because they brought in Emeka Buka. If anything, that could be a good tandem down the line. As we watch these veterans
We got so many weapons,
slip
bro.
with Father Time. And maybe Father Time hits them. Maybe they don't
So
this
crazy.
year. Maybe they don't. We don't know.
We got
Tez Johnson.
Yeah, we got so many weapons and so many like I listen to Panthers podcasts, right? And Saints podcasts and like Falcons podcasts, and I hear them when they talk about the Bucks. And they talk about Ibuka, they talk about Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, right? They talk about Hassan Reddick, maybe Yaya, Kalijah, Vita, right? Levante, Antoine Winfield, right? But they don't even know the danger that's coming. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't even understand. Like that's just the core. That's just the regular. You know what I'm saying? Like every day that we just know they're coming and what they're bringing. That's like the bottom level, right? That's the floor of the Bucks. Like those people are what make the floor of the Bucks. What you guys know already is going to be. What you guys know that is already good enough to win the South, pretty much. That's the floor. That's what you know is going to win the South already. But they don't talk about the Tez, right? That could be a problem in the future now and in the future. They have no ideas coming. They don't talk about Trey Palmer that's been locked away pretty much until we're able to hit down the field with him. They don't talk about Sean Tucker, who's locked away until Rashad leaves. You know what I'm saying? Or if he never leaves. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? I don't know what the future is with them. They don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about Delvin Cope, who's just waiting in the wings, who's waiting back there in the basement. And if he ever gets out of that basement, it's going to be a problem for the NFL, let alone the South. They don't talk about about Devin Cope. They don't talk about Servassier, who we're expecting to be to take over the league. Let's be honest. People over here talking about that he reminds people of Fred Warner. Like, then they don't know nothing about Servassier, Dennis. They don't talk about what's his name? Our rookie. I can't think of his name. David Walker. They don't talk about David Walker. Then they don't know nothing about no David Walker. They don't know that he's back there. Or even Chris Braswell. They don't know that he might have a jump. That it'll be scary if he has a jump. Like, they're not worried about that. They're not talking about Logan Hall, who's made a jump every freaking year. Who's he's coming into his own. They don't know nothing about no Logan Walker. I mean, Logan Hall. They don't know nothing about no David Walker. Don't know nothing about Morrison or Parrish sitting there in the wings. They don't talk about no Tyke Smith. Now, personally, I don't know what Tyke Smith's going to be either, because I don't know if he's going to be nickel. I'm assuming he's going to be the other starting safety, but we don't know what he's going to bring to us as a starting safety. I think he should be good, but we don't know. But my point is, there are so many players, and I talked about this before. There are so many players that are ready to pop off. And not just, when we say pop off, we're not talking about being starters. See, that's the difference between us and the Panthers, us and the Saints, us and the Falcons. They're all trying to find players that are going to start for them and be a core player or be good for them. We're past that already. We got enough of those already. We're looking for players that are going to be diamond in the roughs, that are going to be all pros. We're looking at players that we're thinking they might be all pro when they start hitting their stride. We're looking at players that we're thinking they might be pro bowlers when they start hitting their stride. Now, I'm not saying be in the Pro Bowl, because I don't care about being in the Pro Bowl. We know how that is. But you get what I'm saying. When they're that level of talented where they didn't make the Pro Bowl, like that. That's what I'm talking about. We're looking at players to take us over the top. Like, we're not looking for players to help us win the division. We got that wrapped up already. I told people, listen, excluding the D-line and the O-line, this whole division would be a fair fight for this division if our second team was the only thing starting for us in this division. Then it would be a fair fight, right? We still have starting D-line and we still have the starting O-line. Everybody else that you don't talk about when you talk about our starters, everybody else, if they started our second team, I think I'm not saying we would win it, but I think it'd be a more fair chance of everybody saying that we could win the division. We could win the division. Like, we're so past, we're trying to win the division. We're so much better than that. The offense should be scary good. Believe it or not, I'm more excited for the defense. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I think every Buck fan should be more excited because we know what the offense is. We know what the offense is. It just might be crazy to find out what this defense is
about Baker and said, Baker doesn't care. Baker doesn't care who you are. He's going to give you your
chance.
When we That's find what I like out about Baker Mayfield.
Defense could be like.
What I see about Baker Mayfield is a damn good quarterback prospect here, veteran quarterback, not just
Sean
prospect.
Jay.
Shout out first of all. Him.
First of all, shout out to Sean Jay, a Hall of Fame TTC member, first ballot Hall of Fame Falcon fan. Shout out to Sean Jay. It's been a minute, but let me tell you, bro, I haven't spoken cap. I don't think I've ever spoke cap on this channel ever. Dead serious. I don't think I've spoke, like, if I have, it was jokingly and obvious. I don't think I've ever spoke cap on this channel ever. And I'm dead serious about, think about it, right? You said it's cap. Let me break it down to you. I said second team, right? Now, I'll start off with this because I think this needs to be said. I believe Kyle Trask is better in this offense without a Mike Evans than Chris Godwin would be in this offense without a Mike Evans. Baker Mayfield plays at a very high level because of Mike Evans. Without Mike Evans, I said it before, I think he's a good quarterback. I think we can still win the division. I think he's still good enough, maybe win a playoff game. But without Mike Evans, Baker kind of struggles. I feel low-key we have a better shot of Kyle Trask in this offense without Mike Evans, right, than Baker Mayfield. Now, I could be wrong. I don't think that's true. I'm not saying I know that. I don't know. I have no idea what Kyle Trask is. So when it comes to the quarterback position, fight with me all you want, disagree with me all you want, I'll give it to you. Maybe I'm wrong there. We don't know. So if you want to leave Baker Mayfield on the field, then leave Baker Mayfield on the field. Besides that, because I'm taking Baker Mayfield off the field. Besides that, you talk about, okay, we don't have Mike Evans. Okay, so we got Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, Ibuka, Tez Johnson, and Trey Palmer, and Shepard. We're still in this NFC South race. I'm not worried. We're still in this NFC South race. I'm not worried. I don't feel like, oh no, we don't have no weapons no more. Take away Chris Godwin. Give me Jalen McMillan. Now, Ibuka might be a bust. Obviously, we don't think he's a bust. We don't think it's pretty much a high chance that he's going to be a good player. So let's say that. But let's be realistic. Maybe he's a bust. I could be wrong. But as of what we feel right now, we got Jalen McMillan, Ibuka, and Ted Johnson, Trey Palmer. Now, if you just say those guys, okay, we're looking more like less of the weapons, right, than everybody else in the NFC South, kinda. But then you say, okay, goodbye to Bucky. We still got Rachaad White, who was only behind Christian McCaffrey when he was starting for us. He was only behind Christian McCaffrey when you talk about all-purpose yards. Dude was balling. We still got Sean Tucker behind him. Let's go for the division. I'm still thinking we're fighting for the division here. Then you go tight ends, okay? Durham Payton, and again, Delvin Cope. I think we're still fighting for the division. I low-key, and I'll say this right here, right now, I low-key believe Delvin Cope will be the best tight end in this division. Easily. If he gets unleashed, if Delvin Cope gets unleashed, he will be the best tight end weapon in this division. He might not be the best blocker. He might not be the best well-rounded because that's Cade Otton. But as a weapon, he would be the best tight end in this division. I think Delvin Cope could be what people think Pittman it was supposed to be. Or not Pittman, Kyle Pitts was supposed to be. That's what I think of Delvin Cope. Straight up. So I'm not hurting there when you talk about weapons. Then when you talk about second string on defense, right? Again, we're excluding the D-line, so we still got our first team D-line, right? Servassier, Deion Jones. I'm not mad. Not mad at it. You're talking about Parrish and Morrison. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. The only one that I feel like would hurt us would be second string safeties, right? Let's go Tyke and whoever else. We don't have Antoine Winfield. That's a big hurt. That's a big loss. That's a big loss for us. So, again, not saying that we would win the division with the second team, but I think it's a fairer fight. I think the Buccaneers' second team has a better chance at fighting for the division than anybody else in the division right now fighting for the division against my first team. I'm sorry. Just is what it is. You love to talk offense, but the defense is your biggest weakness. CBs are going to be food thin at linebacker, etc. No, we were last year. Linebacker went from our weakest position to our strongest position, depth-wise. So, yeah. Went from the weakest to the strongest. We're not worried about the inside linebackers no more. We got Anthony Walker, I think. Anthony Walker and Deion Jones backing up Levante and Servassier. We're not worried. Now, obviously, when we're playing this hypothetical game, we're also saying that none of these people are getting injured, right? So if we're going to put my second team, I'm saying none of them are getting injured. So they're going through the whole season getting injured. Now, obviously, realistically, it would be hard because the second team would get hurt and then third team would come in, and that would be a lot harder. I'm saying if my second team was just my second team, we didn't need no backups because nobody got hurt. Obviously, that's not realistic, but that's what I'm trying to explain, the talent that we have. That's the talent that we have right there as our second team. That our second team would actually compete with your guys' first teams. That's what I'm saying right now, straight up. I don't know how else I could say it, but
is he's got a good rate tossing it to the running backs and yet pushing it deep downfield. Like there's a good mix there. There's a good mix. You see Rachaad White. It's good in the receiving game.
Once again, if you guys want, click the link. The link should be
there's some talent
in the comment
here for the
section. Click the link. Come in here.
There's some talent. We can go 4 wide.
Tell me I'm lying.
And teams are going to have a headache.
Let me know. Come on in.
They're going to have a headache now.
Come on in.
Like, we're going 4 wide. Mika Ibuka's the 4. Or McMillan's the 4. Whoever you want it to be. In this dream scenario, Baker Mayfield's running it. Say less. Say less. That's a good offense.
Still live. Let me make sure. 1 second.
Backs. And you saw that as a potential fit for this team. At that time, it was Rachaad White, and you're seeing what was going on with Bucky Irving and everything else down the road after that. But he's fitting well. He's fitting well.
All right. We back. Let me make sure the link is still the same. Yeah, link is still good. Everything's Gucci. All right, we're back. So let me also say about the CBs, right? CBs are going to be food. Maybe. You might be right about that because we really don't know what Morrison is or Parrish is, to be 1,000% honest with you. We really don't know what it is. So that might be a little cap, maybe. I say it because I feel strong about them. We should be good about them. We usually have our coaching staff is really good with developing players. So the fact that here's the other thing. The fact that our defense was able to play playoff defense with the corners and inside linebackers that we had last year, there's no reason why I should feel comfortable with saying, oh yeah, we'll be fine with Morrison or Parrish out there. Oh yeah, we'll be fine with Deion Jones and Anthony Walker. There's no reason why I shouldn't be comfortable with them out there and feel like, again, might not be a Super Bowl defense. It might not even be a really good playoff defense, but I'm definitely comfortable with saying, oh, that's the defense that's out there. They got to go against Bryce Young. It has to go against Michael Penix. It has to go against Tyler Shaw, right? That's my whole point. That's my whole point, is when I say, I'm not sitting there saying, oh, we'll be this good against the NFL and we'll playoff contention with our second team. That's not what I'm saying. What I said was the chance of us fighting for first place in this division would be just as good, or actually better than the chances that the rest of the teams in our NFC South right now has to overthrow the Bucks with the first team in first place right now. The chance is just not, it's just not realistic. It is more realistic to believe our second team has a chance of winning the division than to believe that your guys' first team has the chance to winning the division against our first team. It's just not that realistic to think you guys are where we're at, because you're not. You got the Falcons, who are hoping that their quarterback is it. They have no idea what their quarterback is, right? Not to say that he's bad, not to say that he's good. We don't know what he is. If I had to guess, I think he's in the middle. I think he might be a good quarterback. You can't win much with a good quarterback. Sorry to tell you. I just said that with Baker Mayfield. I think he's a good quarterback. A good quarterback is not going to elevate nobody else. A good quarterback can do his job. A good quarterback is going to mess up sometimes. Just is what it is. It's just not going to mess up a lot to where he looks bad, right? But that's where if I had to choose, but I don't know what he is. Nobody knows what he is right now. Michael Penix, right? Then you got your D-line that you're trying to get good. It's looking bright for your D-line because you just drafted 2 first-rounders, but we don't know what that's going to pan out to be. Your defense, the corners, you got AJ Terrell. That's good. You know, a lot of people don't have that caliber as your CB1. That's good for you guys, right? And Jesse Bates, who I think is one of the best safeties in the league. So that's good for you guys. But that's not enough. Offense-wise, I think you have a good enough O-line. I think you have a playoff caliber type of O-line. Not bad. It's not Tampa's O-line, but I think it's a good O-line. Like I said, playoff caliber type of O-line. It's not bad. You definitely want that. Weapons. I think Mooney is good. I don't think he's Chris Godwin. I don't even think he's gonna be Ibuka. Because I expect Ibuka to be better than that. Drake is. I think Drake is Jalen McMillan good. That's what I think about Drake. I don't think highly of Drake. I don't think highly of Drake at all. I think he's a good wide receiver. I think he's Jalen McMillan. I think he really should be somebody's Robin. I'm sorry. People act like he's the Batman, which he is for Atlanta, but that's because they don't have a true Batman. If they had a true Batman, Drake would turn into Robin. That's how I feel about Drake. I think Drake is playing the Batman role, so he gets the numbers that he gets right now. But I think Drake is actually a really good Robin, which is what I think about Jalen McMillan. So I don't believe in Drake like that. So because of that, I don't think your weapons are scary at all. Now, Bijan, I do think Bijan's one of them crazy running backs. I think you got one there with Bijan. He's definitely a game changer. I think Bijan is your best player on your team. So shout out to Bijan. I will give you guys that. But your team overall is why we're just like, that's cool. Our O-line versus your O-line. It don't matter. You can't say we're worse than you guys. I know we're better than you guys, but if you want to argue you're better or you're the same as us, argue it. Don't care. Baker, you know how I feel about Baker. You don't got a Mike Evans. You don't got a Chris Godwin. Probably don't have a Ibuka, right? That's cool. You got Bijan. We got Bucky. I'm happy with it, but you don't have nothing behind Bijan. We got Bucky, we got Rashad, and we got Sean Tucker. You pretty much have a Sean Tucker behind Bijan, is what you guys got. Then you go to the the defense. We got Yaya, we got Hassan. We got Braswell maybe be coming up. I don't know what he is yet, but maybe be coming up. We got Vita, we got Kalijah. Logan Hall, we got him too. Levante, Servassier, you'll find out about him. You got AJ, we got Zion, and we got Jamel Dean. You see what I'm saying? It's different. You got Jesse, we got Antoine, and we got Tyke. Now, I do like the young safety you guys drafted, so maybe he becomes somebody. So maybe that's another person. But again, after that, you guys are done. For us, we got depth behind there, especially on defense, because Todd Bowles literally played with Scotch tape last year and still had a formidable defense. So that's why we're not really worried about the defense. We're hoping that it takes that leap where they explode, but we're not worried about the defense ever being bad, because as long as we have Todd Bowles, it don't matter who's on the field. We might not be dangerous, but we'll be a good enough defense for us to win games and maybe even playoff games, right? We're just hoping that we stay healthy and the talent that we know we could possibly have rises up to the occasion, and now we can be better than just, okay, we're a good playoff team. Hopefully that talent rises up to where people that we thought should take that next step takes that next step, and now we're a dangerous defense. Now we're a defense that could win playoff games by themselves. That's a different level, right? Now, I started off with the Falcons because the Falcons, I believe, are the closest one to us. Then what do you think is after that? Saints? Panthers? Pick your choice. Now, there's a lot of hype with the Panthers right now, but let's be honest, it's just hype. They did a couple of smart things. They feel good about themselves, and people feel like the Saints did stupid stuff and they're like trashing the Saints. But in reality, they're right there. I wouldn't be surprised if Panthers are fourth and Saints are third. I wouldn't be surprised if Saints are fourth and the Panthers are third. I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers are second and Falcons are third and Saints are fourth. To me, anything can happen. Every one of those three teams are struggling to be a factor with their starters, that any bad injury, how do I say this? Any bad injury streak, let's say that. Any bad injury streak can put them anywhere in the fourth, third, or second. And I don't see that at all with the Bucs. Because if that was to happen, it would have happened last year with the injuries that we had last year. There's no way with the depth we got now, there's no way that could happen this year. So there's no chance of us not winning the division this year. And for the Falcons, for the Panthers, for the Saints, and there's like 2 injuries away from being in fourth place. For any 3 of those teams, they're like probably 2 injuries away from being in fourth place. Let's go through the Panthers, right? Panthers got what they get. They got their wide receiver. So you finally got a Batman. We don't even know if he's a Batman. So you finally have a Batman. Something everybody else in this division already have. We know we have. Maybe he's a Batman. He might be a Robin like Drake. But he's going to be put in the Batman role, so he's going to get his numbers. Right? Who knows? Who knows? But we don't know about that. You don't know what you got weapon-wise after that. Hoping LeGarrette steps up to be a Robin? Come on, man. Like, come on. You have no idea what Bryce is. I mean, again, like if I had to take a shot at it like I did with Penix, I said if I had to take a shot, maybe Penix is good. If I had to take a shot at Bryce, maybe Bryce is average, not even good. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I can sit here and say I don't know, but the optics doesn't look good for Bryce. There's enough games where the optics doesn't look good for Bryce. Plain and simple. Now, can you say that there was some upside at the end of last year? Okay, but to me that don't mean nothing. You got to give me more. I got to get before. There's way more optics of looking bad than there is of looking good. So until you give me more to where I can say, okay, the optics are starting to turn, I got to say what I said about Bryce. The O-line, I don't think the O-line's even a playoff caliber O-line. It's not. I don't think it is, so I'm not worried about that. Running backs, not worried about any running backs. I don't care that you got 2 1,000-yard running backs. I don't care. Why do I care about that? Doesn't matter to me. Y'all were so hyped when you got Sanders from the Eagles. Oh, he's 1,000-yard running back. Okay, I don't care. Do it against us. Show us, like, in the same season with the same team. What does it matter? So the offense has to prove. Your head coach has to prove. Your head coach has to prove that he just didn't find dumb luck and put Bryce in because Andy Dalton got hurt. Car crash. Then you go to the defense. I don't even remember what they did defensively. What J.C. Horn. I mean, I can't even truthfully sit here and say I know he's good because he don't stay on the field. Now, the optics for him looks like he's good, but is it? He don't stay on the field, and the minimum time he's on the field, he don't even stay with the number 1 wide receiver, so he doesn't really have a challenge. Can't say nothing about the man. Don't know nothing about the linebackers. Don't know nothing about the D-line besides Brown. And what's sad is I'm constantly on Panthers podcasts. And I still don't know any names because they don't talk about nobody besides Brown. And they got what? They got the dude that they drafted, which I didn't like him. Okay. Oh, maybe he becomes something. I don't know. Then you got the Saints. Now, everyone's boo-boo and laughing at the Saints. Maybe their quarterback becomes something. I don't know. Saints, there ain't really no point to talk to the Saints, but it just is what it is. It just is what it is, man. But that's why it's like
Baker Mayfield
no
coming
point.
to his own.
There's no point to talk
So you
about
also
this
have to look
division.
at some of these players
It's just not even
like they
fair
go
right
through their
now.
career. Sometimes it's got to be the best destination for them. Coaching changes. Sometimes you got to look at these franchises. You look at Shedeur Sanders with Cleveland, and like I've been saying, and everybody keeps talking, Shedeur should be the guy. Shedeur should be the guy.
Just one
That's
more
another thing.
screenshot,
I'm
and
so
this
tired.
SOP is finally done.
I'm so
Guy.
tired.
Flacco this.
I'm so tired of this Shedeur talk, bro. I'm so tired of the Shedeur talk. There is so many creators out there right now that they already know who I am because I already went out there like, you already know me. And it's like, once again, saying things that sound good, but it's not real. It's just not real. And they're talking about Shedeur, his stats this day, his stats that day. He looked like this. He looked like that. They're hating on Shedeur. He should be starting this and this and that. And it's like, bro, what are you talking about? He has the best arm. It's evident. The players all want him to start. The players love Shedeur. They're talking big about Shedeur. Oh, he already has the locker room. Hey, he has the best arm accuracy and the best arm talent out there. It's very evident. He's undeniable. He's annihilating practice. What are you but he hasn't taken reps with the first team yet. And they're saying that he don't know the playbook as good enough to take first team reps. Oh, but that's because they're hating. It's all a lie. They're conspiracy and this and that. Can we just stop, bro? It's not even training camp. It's OTAs. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, where's the people that said that Shedeur was going to be this and Shedeur couldn't do that? He still hasn't proven that he could or he couldn't. It's OTAs. Nothing has been proven or disproven. Nothing has happened. Stop. Oh, I thought he was going to be a distraction in the locker room. And then he gets 2 tickets. And now, Oh, well, everybody gets speeding tickets. I've gotten a speeding ticket before. I go on 101 and a 60 something. Really? Twice? All right, bro. You know, and again, that don't even matter. I don't even care. It's the fact of all the BS and media saying that Shedeur is looking like a first rounder. Everyone's saying that Shedeur is the clear head starter. How is that even possible? That's how you know it's BS. It is not possible to look like the clear starter in OTAs. It is not possible. Oh, it's evident. Daniel Gabriel doesn't even hold a candle to Shedeur. It's evident. Just watch. All you got to do is watch. You're lying. What are you talking about? And then you know what was funny? I found them saying the same thing about Shiloh. And that's what these channels are about. They're not about Cleveland Browns. They're about Colorado, because they're saying the same thing with Travis, saying the same thing with Shedeur, and they're saying the same thing with Shiloh. Oh, Shiloh at the Tampa. Oh, man, it's not even a matter of if he's going to get on the team. Is he going to start? Oh, Todd Bowles is already raving about Shiloh. Oh, did you hear Antoine Winfield? He already wants Shiloh to be his partner and start with him. What are you talking about? Oh, Shiloh has a real good chance at making it. I'm hearing that at camp Shiloh is looking good and he has a real shot at making the team. Yeah. He has a real shot at making the team. Probably not going to. Maybe the practice squad. Maybe he makes the practice squad. He might make the team. Who knows? Again, preseason, there's a lot of stuff. Who knows? And I like Shiloh. I low-key hope he does make the team, to be honest with you. But to sit here and act like, oh, it's already written, it's this and that. Bro, just stop. It's all cap. It's all cap. Once again, y'all could click on the link and come in here and give your opinions if you want. Pryor says Shiloh could work in Bucks media. Why not? I honestly don't care, bro. I honestly don't care. If you're a good player, come play for my team. That's it. I'll tell you this. It would be interesting. It would be interesting if he was to make the team. It would be interesting because right now he's doing a lot of streaming. He's doing a lot of videos and stuff like that for YouTube and stuff. It would be interesting to see if he did make the team, to see how if he's still streaming, still doing videos like that. Because I'll tell you right now, this ain't one of them teams. This ain't the Dolphins. This ain't the Dolphins. You don't do your job, someone's taking your job, bro. You don't know the playbook inside and out, someone's taking your job right away. Plain and simple. No games. We don't play games here in Tampa. We need you to do your job at full capacity. We see your focus is somewhere else. Now, if you can do your job and stream, more power to you. If you can watch film and be ready on Sundays and still stream and all that stuff, more power to you. But we take our job serious here. It's like they had a video of Travis Hunter at Jaguars practice where he's like doing this dance, he's dancing or whatever, and one of the dude grabs him and was like, bro, get in line. Like, stop dancing and get in line. And he gets in line and then he's like, he started dancing again, but he's doing it like, you could tell he got embarrassed. You can tell he kept dancing to make it seem like, oh, you're not going to tell me to not dance or not be myself. But he did it differently. Like, he was a little embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? Like, he kind of like was doing it a little bit softer and was like not as enthusiastic, right? But it's like, bro, come on, bro. All you're doing, you keep dancing and all that. We get it, bro. We get it. Lock in. Like, let's go. Come on. It's practice time. We trying to win here. Lock in. Do all that dancing and crap. Come on. This is real. This is serious. It's people's lives out here, bro. You ain't the best player on the field anymore. You can't just go out there and be good off your athleticism. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And that man wants to play offense and defense. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Let's be real. Let's be real. Like someone told me one time, they want you to go out there and jam Tyreek Hill, right? And then on defense, and then on offense, get off of Jalen Ramsey off of the jam. This is different. It's a different beast out here, bro. Different beast. These ain't the same college little recruits that you can sit there and be like, oh, I can play both sides of the ball and be good at both. No, you can't. And they were hyping him up with an interception that looked like PI. It wasn't PI. The flag wasn't thrown. It was PI. It'll be called on Sunday. It was PI. It was PI. You got to sit there and watch game film on both. Learn how somebody else releases and learns how a corner jams. This is different. It's a different situation, bro. Lock in. Get serious.
This guy, this.
Lock in.
You got to remember it's the Browns. It's got to remember it's the Browns, guys. We're looking at Baker here, killing it. McMillan's good. McMillan's a good wide receiver. He gonna just extend in this offense. Mika Buka is a good route runner. He's thick. He can be a power slot. What I mean by power slot's a guy you can put it inside and outside, but since he's bigger and gets you yards after the catch, and it's hard to bring down tackling in the open field, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. We're seeing a lot of McMillan. We're seeing a lot. You know why? You know why? Those two have a good rapport. We covered that last year extensively. Jalen McMillan is a damn good wide receiver.
Very good.
Mika Buka too.
Very
So we're
good.
getting younger here on the back end, but yet we're studly with our vets. We want to see what Chris Godwin's looking like from that injury too after the offseason. I want to see what that's looking like. I want to see Mike Evans another full season too. I think that would be great for Baker Mayfield. But we're looking at him and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as we get ready in training camp. And what do I want to see from this team in training camp? We
Shout out
know
to
about
Trask.
the run game. We know about the running backs. I want to see what those two young wide receivers are going to be doing and how they're going to be implemented with those veterans, McMillan and Mika Buka. I want to see how much McMillan has developed. I want to see Mika Buka take a step forward. Even though he's a rookie, I want to see him just jumping in there, just start making moves. I want to hear stories about him from the beat writers. If I start hearing a lot from McMillan and Mika Buka from the beat writers, that's going to be huge for this team. That's going to be massive. Tez Johnson taking a step forward. Tez Johnson creating separation. Smaller
Tez
wide
Johnson,
receiver.
bro. I keep
but nasty
forgetting
in
about
the
Tez
field.
Johnson.
If those two young wide receivers, though, Mika Buka and McMillan, takes a step forward, and the veteran wide receivers start off healthy, all system goes.
Good question.
That is a deep, nasty wide receiver depth chart. That is a deep, nasty wide receiver depth chart. And it's not really that big of an if. McMillan's got a rapport. He came on strong last year at the end of it. Had a strong rapport with Baker Mayfield this time last year and into training camp. Mika Buka, storied career at Ohio State. He was there being a producer. 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Good route runner. Good size.
So let's talk about the scrimmage. Once again, if you guys want to come in here and chop it up, the link, let me double check, man. The link should be in the comment section. Should be pinned. Yeah, it's pinned up in the top of the comment section. Just click on that. Come on in. Give your opinions on whatever I'm talking about. Whatever you want to talk about. Don't matter. Just as long as we talking football, I don't care what we talk about. Come on in here. Chop it up. You know, get this channel going. So come on in here and talk about whatever you want to talk about. I don't care if you agree with me, disagree with me, whatever. Think I'm retarded or any of that. Come on in. let's talk about the schedule. We got NFL preseason, right? We start off against the Titans, and I believe I think we got the Titans and the Steelers. I think we got practice with them. I forgot. I know there's a word for it, but yeah, we have practice with that both of them, so that should be good. We're trying to get practice with all three. The third preseason game is the Bills, so that's actually a great third preseason game. Do we play? Don't we play the Bills? Yeah, we do play the Bills this year. So that'll be a good practice because that's the third game, which means the starters should play. Now that doesn't mean we'll play against their starters. Everybody does their thing differently, so we'll see what happens. But the first preseason game is against the Titans. I'm trying to think. Titans are restarting, so that shouldn't be good. Second preseason game should be a good preseason game against the Steelers. That's a very well coached Steelers team. And Aaron Rodgers is with them. So that'll be good for our defense to go against Aaron Rodgers. Actually, Cam Ward will be with the Titans, right? So that should be a nice little scrimmage, good scrimmage there too. In practice, when they go against each other in practice. I don't remember if I said this before, but I'll say it right now. I fully expect going into halftime, winning every preseason game. If not like convincingly winning every preseason game. If we feel the way we feel about our depth, at least through halftime, because once the third team comes in, that third team usually comes in after halftime, right? Except for the last preseason game where it's even same thing even then, because the first team will probably get one possession and then the second team will maybe get till like halftime, and then the third team and the fourth team will get pretty much third quarter and the fourth quarter. So either way, it should be the same. But yeah, with the depth that we got, I mean, think about it. It'll be Kyle Trask. That's one. It'll be Kyle Trask with the second team. So you got joint practice. Thank you. Yes, joint practice. We should have joint practice with the Titans and with the Steelers. So it'll be Kyle Trask throwing to Jalen McMillan, Ibuka, Ted Johnson, Trey Palmer, Shepard, right? Peyton Durham and Delvin Cope. The only thing that could mess us up is the second team O-line. We don't know what that's going to look like. Now, they're liking the depth. Supposedly, we're liking the depth at the O-line, but we don't know. We have no idea. So that could be the only thing that messes us up offensively. Defensively, second team. And this is the team that should be playing most of the preseason, right? At least the first half, right? Chris Braswell, Watson, Jose Ramirez, David Walker, as an outside. Who else? Probably Logan Hall, maybe. I don't know if they'll have him because he's a starter. So, I don't know if they'll have him out there because they've had Golston. He plays the Golston role. They've had Golston out there a few times, and he was a starter. I can't think of the guy's name that does not Gaines. I don't think he'll be out there long, but he might. He is a backup, and we do need as many bodies out in there, so maybe. But I said the important ones, right? Servassier, I believe, will be out there. I could be wrong. They might be scared to put him out there. That'll say a lot. We'll see. We'll see what they do with Servassier. But either way, Deion Jones, Anthony Walker. Those are starters, bro. Those are starters going out there with the second team. And then Morrison and Parrish. Come on, bro. And then our backup safeties. So, which we don't know who's gonna be the backup safeties. That's all the safeties. That's all fighting, right? Except for Antoine Winfield's spot. And I believe Tyke Smith is probably going to be next to him, but we don't know that for sure. But that's probably the biggest battle is the safety position, right? Who's going to be next to Antoine Winfield, and then after that, who's going to be number 2 on either side, and then number 3. That's the big battle we have. That's just a big old battle. We have no idea. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there should be a reason why we don't have a commanding lead at the end of every half in this year's preseason. Again, and I said this every year, and I'm gonna keep saying it until it's not true, but the most anticipated preseason. And it's been like that because for the last 3 years, maybe 4 years, maybe we've been rebuilding the team, and we think we know the starters. But even the people behind them, we don't know. Are they going to take a jump and jump somebody? Are they going to end up being the starter? We have no idea. So even when we watch these preseasons and we watch like the backups of the backups and whatever, we're excited to see, can you show us something? Are you going to show us something? Are you going to show us? So we've been really excited to watch these preseason games. Excuse me. So yeah, it's not like most preseason games and most of these teams in the NFL where we want to watch the starters, and then after the starters is like, yeah, you're probably never going to be a backup anyways. You're probably never going to do nothing anyways. For us, second team and third team could play a big role in our season. And we have so much potential on the second team and the third team that we still excited to watch them to see, are they going to reach the potential, or are they going to stay third team or stay second team? So we got a lot that we want to see, and it's very, very interesting. So yeah,
powerful wide receiver, and all these wide receivers are a little bit different from each other. That's the thing about that. But that would be you got Shepard there. You got some talent on this team. You got some talent on this offense. Would not be surprised if this becomes one of the surprise teams that people are forgetting about. When I mean forgetting about, some of you guys are Bucs fans watching this, but globally, social media, a lot of people thinking about like Chiefs, Eagles, all this. You look at this offense, though, and those young guys take a step forward. You guys got like Hassan Reddick and everybody else, but those young guys take a step forward. How are you going to stop this team? If everybody stays healthy, how are you going to stop this team? Baker Mayfield's a good facilitator of football. And it all goes back to the Cleveland Browns. It all goes back to when he put the flag.
Von Miller was signed to the Saints.
State. This kid's got some moxie. This guy is chill. He's got that leadership ability, but he's not afraid to put the cojones out there. This is what you're getting from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I believe that if these young wide receivers, when we're looking at Mika Buka and McMillan, if they take a step forward in their development from what we saw from McMillan last year, and Mika Buka exceeds expectations as a rookie this year, does veteran wide receivers stay healthy? This passing game is going to be fire. It's going to be massive. It's going to be fire. Let me know what you think, though, in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One day.
All right. Let's see something real quick. Let's see. Yeah, they gotta play. Oh yeah, Desmond, big Desmond too. It'd be exciting to watch him play. And we got JJ Roberts that I'm kind of excited to see. We got a lot of players, bro. I'm telling you, we got a lot of players to be watching. Where is it? We see in the comment section, maybe someone said it was a lie. I don't know. I'm saying nothing. Let's see. Let me go here and see if it's true. Let's click on it and see what they say.
Attention passionate new, Orleans Saints fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on New Orleans Saints' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true New Orleans Saints fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also
Hold
part
on.
of this family.
We gotta hear
Let's-
this.
Attention passionate new, Orleans Saints fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about
Change
a
the
direct
game.
impact on New Orleans Saints' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that,
Oh
if you're
my
a true New
gosh.
Orleans Saints fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion. It's about strategic upgrades, about making sure they're ready to contend not just for this season.
Oh, my Lord. I don't know, man. I low-key wonder sometimes, and then I have to pull back on reality, right? Because I wonder sometimes, like, was I really stretching that far back in the days with the Bucks? And I, you know what? The answer is no. Back in the Jameis Winston days, back in those days, I definitely wasn't stretching like that for the Bucks. Now, did it seem like I was? Yes. Now, the difference is I didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't know what I was talking about. That's the difference. But some of the stuff that's being said, man, and I really don't hear. That's the first time I heard a Saints podcast thing say something crazy like that. But that's AI crap. I don't, who knows if Saint fans are really looking at stuff like that. But Falcons. And Falcons, I kind of listen. I kind of get, because we low key are the reasons why they believe or think what they believe and think, right? I forget the joint practice. Jacksonville would be dope. I forgot. We're not practicing with Jacksonville. We're not practicing with Jacksonville. I do think a lot of it actually has to do with the Bucks. The reason why Falcons are misled, right? Misguided. They think that they're better than what they are, and it's because they swept us. Now, one, that's a rookie mistake. That's just a rookie content creator mistake to make, which is, oh, you guys are this level and we swept you guys, so we must be around that level. You have to understand football is about matchups. That does not tell you how good your team is. One team cannot tell you how good your team is. When you have a measuring stick, oh, they're the champs or they're the whatever, people like to take one team and be a measuring stick, but you need several teams. You can't just do it with one team. You could just be a good matchup against that one team. People got to understand that. A lot of people don't. So I do get how most of it is our fault. They believe because they beat us with Kirk Cousins, they swept us with Kirk Cousins, that they believe they're somewhere around our facility of talent, which is completely false. Now, the Panthers have that same falseness because of the Falcons. They believe that they're better than the Falcons because of the last time they played the Falcons. and they feel like they're around the Bucks because if the Falcons swept the Bucks and we're better than the Falcons, then you know what I'm saying. So it's just this whole fairy tale of why they think they're as good as the Bucks, or why they think they're around what we're, as good as we are. So when you look at the matchups, when you look at the roster, player for player, it's not even close. When you look at, and that's not the biggest factor of why I know they're not where we're at. Excuse me. I'll tell you the biggest factor of why I know they're not where we're at. And that is the schedule. Look at the schedule. Like I said, when you say, oh, that's our measuring stick and we're around here, that's where you go wrong. But when you say, okay, these guys are up here is our measuring stick and we're around there or above that consistently, then you can say that, right? We're consistently beating playoff teams. We're consistently beating other division winners. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just that one team. It's several teams that are making it into the playoffs. Several teams that are winning their divisions, several times. On top of that, being consistent. We played good against them. We played good against them. We might have not won it, but we played good against them. And we played good against them, and we won. And we played good against them, and we won. And we played good against them, and we won. Not, we played good against them, and we won. We played good against them, but we didn't win. We played good against them, too, but we didn't win. We played good against them, too, but we didn't win. And we played good against them, and we almost won. Like, no, bro, you're trying to put yourself up there when other teams consistently are showing you, no, you didn't win. I don't care if you won in overtime. I don't care if you lost in overtime. I don't care if you tied and then lost. I don't care if you lost because of a penalty. I don't care if you lost. You didn't overcome that team. Right? Then you talk about the type of wins. We beat the Detroit Lions. Let me see. Let's see. We beat the Commanders 20-37, 17 points. We beat the Lions 20-16, and I believe at that time it was farther than that. They just they scored at the end to make it 16, I believe, right? And I think they tried to get like let me double check. Let me not speak and not know. Let's just go here.
With time, checks it. It's Montgomery out of the for Gibbs. From the 9. Has all day, nobody open. Now he's going to run. Mayfield with a move. And Baker Mayfield down at the 11-yard line. First and 10 at the 11-yard line. Mayfield going to run again. Baker up the middle. Inside the 5. Mayfield lunging touchdown. What an answer for Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. First down and 10 for Detroit.
So the end of the third quarter, starting the fourth quarter, we were up 20-16. And the game
set
ended.
And they spike it. No Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's on the sidelines. Second
and 10.
Down. Goff throws for the sideline. Williams, does he get both toes in? No. Incomplete, out of bounds.
Is up. There's possession. There's one.
Left.
Goff, backside pressure. Throws sideline. Deflected away. McCollum again.
Defensively.
Goff looks. Skips it. Down at the 14-yard line. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So it was 20-16 in the fourth quarter, starting the fourth quarter. And they were never able to score again. And if, let me look again before I say this. Hold on. Let me check this out again.
By Dan Campbell.
From the 49 on first down.
I believe this is the game where our right tackle Luke Gedeke was hurt. So Hutchinson went off for like 3 sacks. So that was the reason why their defense went off, I believe. And we still was able to. I could be wrong, but let me see. Let me check the stats. Aiden Hutchinson went off for 4.5 sacks, bro, because of our right tackle. So we were dealing with the right tackle, and yeah, there it is right there. I know, I'm just saying if we did it, it would be funny to watch. Yeah, facts. Hutch had like 5 sack facts. So we were able to do that. Our offense was able to put up 20 points with that big situation happening. But we go into the fourth quarter, 20-16. Our defense never let them score again. So these are games where these are like, yeah, we didn't just win at the end and if there was only more time or no. Then we laid an egg against the Broncos, 26-7. We just was not prepared for that. I put that game on coaching. 16-33 against the Eagles, mollywop. 30-36. There should be no way Falcons put up 36 or anybody put up 36 on us. That tells you they obviously exposed us. 51-27. Good Lord, against the Saints. Whatever. 41-31 against the Bucks. Now that was the Mike Evans, and we all know what happened there, right? Mike Evans, 31 points. We got mollywopped.
This defense.
I'm not gonna watch that. That's just bad juju. I'm not gonna watch that. 31-26 again. Another 30 burger on us. The Chiefs 30-24. Now, my thing is, I believe we got exposed from the Falcons game. That's what I think. We got exposed by the Falcons game. The Ravens just killed us. I don't even know if we got exposed, but then we got exposed by the Falcons again. Chiefs did the same thing to us. 49ers beat us? Man, 49ers beat the Bucks. We only scored 20 points in that game. 30-7 the Giants. And obviously the Giants is when Mike Evans came back, because again, no Mike Evans 49ers, no Mike Evans against the Chiefs, no Mike Evans against the second Falcons game. I forgot about that. But this is what I was saying. Look at our offense. 26 points offense against the Falcons. Next game, 24 points against the Chiefs. Next game, 20 points against the 49ers. Our points were just going down and down and down every game without Mike Evans. Then Mike Evans comes back, 30 points. Then, the next game against the Panthers, 26-23, won by the skin of our teeth. Then 28-13. Then blew out the Chargers 40-17. We lost to the Cowboys? Why did we lose to the Cowboys? I got to watch that game again. Why did we lose to the Cowboys? Anyways, then we blow out the Panthers 48-14, 19-27, we beat the Saints again, and then we lose in the wild card 23-20 against the Commanders, which I believe they just had 20. They just had 3 more points. Yep, 3 more points than the first time we played them. And that was in overtime. So my point is that it's not just, we won, right? We also got some good wins. Like, yeah, we were the better team. We won that because we were the better team. Now, obviously, it doesn't matter. Winning is winning. It don't matter how you win. Winning is winning. But when you're trying to do the bar, set the bar, or use someone as the bar, it does matter. It really does matter, because you have to understand Is this a game that you did set the bar, or is this just a game where just any given Sunday situation happened? You have to realize that. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Trying to see if there's anything else out here, man. I want to keep this going, but you guys are not coming in and giving your opinions or bringing up a new subject or something. So I gotta find other people talking so we could talk about it. If not, then you know what happens. You have to shut it down. You have to shut it down. Let's go. Hold on. Let's put it here so we can see. Let's see. Vita Vea is a monster. He is a monster. Benjamin Morris. Oh my goodness, man. That kid's gonna be nice. He is going to be nice. Oof. Should we listen to Pewter Report and see what they're talking about? Let's see what they're talking about. Let's see what they're talking about.
Things just they
Bucks
definitely have some
best
key
depth offense.
and a lot of good areas to have it in. There's also some weaker spots, but again, you can't have depth everywhere. You just gotta do the best you can. But yeah, really excited. This has been a pretty good offseason so far. Looking forward to training camp and preseason.
Yeah, I'm counting down the dates until training camp returns. The Bucks actually their tickets went on sale today for to get to the open public training camp practices. I should say went on sale. I think it's free, but anyway. Shout out to everybody in the comments as well. Tom says, gonna be a great show. You're damn right it is, Tom. Money Making Mitch says, what up, Pewter people? And Steven Stansfield saying, what up, Michael and Matt, who's watching from New Jersey. Also Nathan Elliott, of course, in the comments as well. So yeah, we're gonna talk all about the Buccaneers offense today. Josh Broussard as well. But let's start with Baker Mayfield. We know the depth at quarterback. It's going to be Baker Mayfield starting with Kyle Trask backing up. I know there was a little bit of a conversation about, can Kyle Trask get pushed for the backup role? But now with Michael Pratt not participating and hopefully he'll be back for training camp, seems like it is Kyle Trask's job to lose at the backup position.
It was always Kyle Trask's job to lose.
Mayfield, I guess let me ask you this, because we know he's going to be the starter. How much better do you think Baker Mayfield can be? And where do you put him in the echelon of quarterbacks right now? Because there's a hot button discussion about who's in the top 10. Some lists are absolute garbage. There's the overhype of Justin Herbert, which I've talked a lot about a lot on this show. Just give me your overall general thoughts about Baker Mayfield and your opinion on him going into the season.
Yeah, I think he's one of the.
We are listening to Pewter Report,
especially in the NFC when you look at the quarterback outlook. But he's definitely a top 15 quarterback. He's deserving starter. I think he's a very good quarterback. The numbers last year were, they were top notch. He put up really good numbers as far as passing statistics goes. You want to see, obviously, he's talked about it where you want to avoid the turnovers or at least try to eliminate the interceptions, the fumbles, the sacks. That's, those are things that he has to improve on. And that's something I think they're counting on with this continuity that has come in with the offense. They're thinking, okay, maybe he can learn to get the ball out faster because he knows the offense and can progress and take his game to a newer heights. I think he's still progressing. You look at what he's done so far here with the Bucks,
but it's not the offense he's progressing, right? And it's not the offense that they're hoping he gets better at. It's his mechanics.
He's got the opportunity to do so when we talk.
It's his mechanics.
Skill position players.
He's got to get better at his mechanics. He's got to get more accurate.
Goes, I think
that's all it is.
I think it's kind of in the same situation where you look at Tom Brady and Blaine Gabbert, like they're just not really putting a lot of emphasis on that backup quarterback. They're not expecting their starter to get injured. I think if Kyle had to play some snaps, you would hope he can keep things afloat and maybe they can squeak out some games. That's going to depend on if the defense is going to be better this year. But Baker Mayfield, I think the Bucs have to feel good about him, and obviously they want him to be a Buc for the near future and also long term as well.
It's so interesting with Kyle Trask, right? Because he became the first Buck to ever be drafted by the team and then signed to a second contract, and yet he hardly played in a regular season game. He's almost got the Ryan Griffin journey. Ryan Griffin, like being on the Bucs for so long, never playing in a game, dominating in the preseason. I wouldn't say Kyle Trask has dominated in the preseason, but it's so foreign with Kyle Trask because he hasn't played in any games. I'm curious, if he had to start a couple of games this year for the Bucs, if something happened to Baker, how confident are you in him if he's got to, say play 5 games? Like, what do you think his record would be?
Yeah, it's tough to decide because it just depends on like what's available around him.
Sure.
If he has the full arsenal, and it's just him replacing Baker, then I think they could do well enough to at least, go 500 or at least split a couple of games here and there. And you hope if an injury does happen, it's nothing long term.
Right.
That's the thing. But I think Kyle has enough talent to run the offense, and you have a good running game to lean on if necessary. It would probably change some things of how they call it, but you have a very good offensive line in front of him, so he would have time to throw the football.
Exactly.
And we'll see. I think it would just
That's
be
what
a
people
different
don't understand.
offense than what we're normally used to.
It might be a more
Baker has
high-powered
been here
offense.
for 2 seasons. He's going into his 3rd year, but his 2nd year in the 3-year contract that Baker Mayfield signed after his comeback season, if you will, his 1st year with the Bucs. If you're Jason Licht, are you trying to get an extension right now with Baker Mayfield,
No.
or do you think that he's got to have one more, big time season to, get that extra bump in his payday that he certainly lived up to last year, but there's a reason why there's contracts in place in the first place.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely have discussions. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to, figure out, what they could get right now, and just kind of wait and see.
What do y'all
I
think?
It's probably something they lean towards doing next offseason, just because he does.
What do y'all think about that? I want to know. There's 6 people watching. I want to know your guys' opinions on this. What do you guys think about that? Should we sign Baker for a long-term deal right now? Should we wait? Should we sign him only if he gives us another discount? What is your guys' thoughts on Baker? Should he be the franchise quarterback going forward? Is he the future of our franchise right now? What do you guys think about that? Please put it in the comment section right now, or come in here and talk about it. Click the link to the chat is on the top of the chat.
Is going to be
I want to know what y'all think about that,
for the
please.
rest of his career. Just the way that he's ingratiated himself in the community. I mean, Ben Bredesen just got married the other day, and Baker was front and center, like with all the pictures and stuff that people saw on social media. So I'm excited for Baker this year. I think his touchdown numbers are certainly going to go up. The only reason why maybe his passing yards don't go up is because of how great the running game is. You mentioned that a moment ago. Before we talk about the running backs, I do want to talk about Josh Broussard real quick.
Sure.
What do you think he'll bring to the offense this year? And specifically, like, how is he going to elevate Baker Mayfield's game?
30 mil.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, Baker's been kind of up and down with like the vertical passing game. And that's
Cap
something I know you guys have talked about here. And
2026,
something,
50 mil.
the element where they're trying to create more explosive plays in the passing game. And that's something where Baker's been kind of hit or miss in his 2 years here. So hopefully that can improve. If that does, then this offense could be very dangerous. But I think, utilizing the running backs, utilizing the tight ends, I think you could see a little bit more, especially in the run game and utilizing them, over the middle of the field. That's going to be an area where they want to attack, but also
This
just
is a
trying to
big
set up
year.
more vertical passing.
Y'all
game.
can
I
see
think
the
that's gonna be the main
contract, right?
difference. Probably some different usage as far as your motions and stuff like that. But pretty much the formations, the personnel groupings, those are pretty much going to stay the same as far as what we've seen. But probably a little bit more Miami-esque being brought along here. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he's in a good spot with the addition of Emeka Egbuka, who we'll talk about here shortly. But yeah, I think they're in a really good situation for him.
Yeah, me too. I love that he has a Yale background, so he's a football nerd.
Yes.
No shame to any of the football nerds out there, Yale specifically. But I also love that he was here last season. I think that's an element that gets overlooked a little bit. But Baker has never had continuity in his career, going from Cleveland to the Panthers to LA and now the Bucs. And he had it a little bit with Liam Cohen, and then of course we all know what happened. He's now the head coach.
So he can make an extra
Jacksonville
what,
Jaguars.
$2
But the
million?
fact that he was here last season operating third downs, which the Bucs were fantastic at it, very successful, best in the league.
Roster.
Actually, for him to already be here, know what he's got, and then you add in Emeka Egbuka and even Tez Johnson. I'm excited to see what's in the bag for Tez Johnson this year. Having a guy that there's not that like getting to know you phase. There's not that, oh, well, Mike likes it this way versus Chris Godwin likes it that way, because he's already been there. That's already been established. I think that's super important for the Bucs offense this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like you said, he's been in the building. He has familiarity with the staff and most importantly, the players. So he understands like, okay, these guys like these certain calls in this type of situation. So that's going to be important that they have that type of background to operate from. And, you've heard the players and coaches talk about it this offseason where the foundation is pretty much there. Now they just kind of continue to build and add things and see, new dynamics.
Yeah, this year is going to be a
Josh
big
has
year
talked
for
about
Baker. Has to be.
watching, a lot of college. tape and
49
trying to
mil,
incorporate
being
that
49 mil
into
cap
his
hit.
scheme. So, yeah, it's exciting stuff. We'll see. Hopefully,
Baker
I don't
has to
think-
show something this year because
know
I
if
don't
they'll be
think
able
we're
to
going to
reproduce
go
what they had last year. I
into
think it's
next
gonna be in
year
different ways.
with the
You
49
just
mil
hope
cap
they can
hit.
still maintain. They can be at least.
And
top
if
10
we do,
offense, I think
then they probably
you're
already
sitting
realize
very
that Baker's
nicely,
not the guy,
especially
and
with the
they're gonna
improvements
cut
that are
him.
come on defense. But offensively, they have everything they need when it starts with the quarterback and you have the right offensive
So,
line in place in that
man,
regard.
this
You
is such a
hope,
big year for Baker,
they
man.
can get over those little hurdles. Kind of similar.
Baker
to
has to
what
show
Gabe
that we
Canales
can win
had,
with him.
early on. You hope that the growing
He's
pains are
shown
a
that
little bit
we
shorter
think we
so
could
they
win
can
with
pick it
him,
up and
but
start fast.
Yeah, I hope a
one
lot of
playoff
those
win,
periods and going live,
one
in
playoff
practice
exit in the
will
first round.
help expedite the
He has to
process
show us
for,
consistently. We
Josh
need
Broussard. 'Cause
we need
I
at
do agree.
least
I
2
think there
playoff
are
wins.
going to be
We
a
need
little
2 playoff
bumps,
wins this
on
year,
the road, as
and
we saw
that
with
third
Gabe
playoff.
Canales.
If we don't get
That's a
that
great
third
point right
playoff
there.
win,
But let's move on to
it has
the
to
running
be
back room. And it's
not
interesting
because of
because
him.
I think quarterback is such a
He
different
can't-
animal, but I think there's a
He
legitimate
can't contribute to the
argument
loss.
between running backs, wide receivers, and offensive line, which we will all talk about. There's like a legit argument between those three position groups to say that they are the deepest or they are the biggest strength of this team. But let's talk about the running backs: Bucky Irving, Rashad White, Sean Tucker, even some undrafted free agents in the mix as well. Give me your overview of the Bucs running back room. How excited are you for this group? What do you want to see different? What are your expectations? I know it's 10 questions, but take it in any direction that you want to.
No, I'm very excited about the running back room. I think it's a very strong group. I think it's probably
team improvement
the
yards,
best group
rush,
to
plus
withstand
wild card win, 75.
if something happened to
snaps.
Bucky Irving. As far as having Rashad
Divisional
White, who
round
has been
win,
a starter,
75%
Sean
snaps.
Tucker has seen significant snap increase over his time here. And then you have some, interesting undrafted
Woo!
guys like DJ Williams. And
Winning the playoffs, baby. Winning the playoffs will give you some money. Look at that.
Yeah, they're both
Divisional round
the
win,
other one
100,
is, from
1.25.
I think Josh Capo actually did a great article on him recently.
See, only 500,000
yeah,
for
the
a
running
wild
back
card.
room is
Who cares?
very stacked. I think
Win that
you
divisional
have
round,
still a lot of
1.25.
upside in that
Win
group
that
with
conference,
Bucky Irving, and
1.75.
hopefully he can improve
Super Bowl win, we'll
his
give you
game.
2.5.
And you
Let's
see
go.
Rashad White continuing
Come on.
to progress as like that third down type of change of pace type back that can be a starter if need be. I think the improvement of the scheme and how they run the football, the variations of gap versus zone, that has helped tremendously. And you have really perfect fits. Sean Tucker gives you something different than the other two. So it's just a very good variety. I think it's a very good room. And obviously you want to see maybe Sean Tucker get more involved, and hopefully he can improve and maybe take over.
The thing is,
after the
if Baker
expected
can show
Rashad
us
White,
that
maybe
he's
if
the
he
guy,
leaves next year,
and
that remains to be
yes,
seen,
we can win
but
with Baker.
I think you're
It's
in
very
really
possible
good
we can
hands
win
with
with
those
Baker. We
first
just
three.
need a
You
little
have
bit more
some
talent.
upside at the bottom.
We
of
know
the
the
roster as well.
Glazers and
I'm
Jason
excited
Light
about
know
Josh
how to
Williams,
go
the
all
running
in
back
and
from
grab
LSU,
anybody we
because
need and
Jason Light would
charge
not
the
stop
credit
talking
card.
about him.
That's
Todd
the whole
Bowles was
thing.
mentioning
Is we
him.
know,
Even the offensive line,
luckily,
and
that our
Bucky Irving as
franchise is
well
like
have-
that. We
have
will, if
mentioned
we
him. So,
truly believe
that's
we
gonna
can
be
win a
one of
Super
those
Bowl,
guys. We know how it
we
is in the
will
preseason to start
charge the
play. You
credit
cross
card
your fingers to saying,
and
stay
go
healthy. So
over
you gotta
into the
find
red
something
to
latch
put
onto
together
a
the
little
last
bit. And I
pieces
think
we
Josh
need,
Williams,
which I
will
believe we're right there.
certainly be that guy
I
in the
believe we
preseason
are
when
right
a lot of the
there,
main
bro.
guys aren't playing.
We
You
could
mentioned Sean
possibly,
Tucker a moment ago. I
this
did wanna
could
ask you
be
about
the
him
year where we're like,
specifically.
yep, we got all the
Do you want to
pieces.
see like more of a
But
rotation
if not,
with the running backs? Because Sean
we're
Tucker,
already
he
at
had
the
the incredible
position
game with the Saints,
where
but
we can
Sean
just
Tucker has
pluck
also had
one
the
or two
ability, we've
pieces
seen
that
the
we need,
preseason a little bit.
and we're there.
He
Super Bowl,
can
baby. We're there.
Take it to the house.
But
a lot of
before
plays,
we
where,
charge
like,
the
Bucky
credit
Irving
card,
several times, and
Baker
we
has
all
to
love
show us
Bucky.
that he's worth
Fantastic.
it.
I can't wait
Baker
for
has
him
to
get
show us he
stadium
can
to be
do it, and he
chanted
hasn't done that
Bucky
yet.
until a duck comes along. But there are many times Bucky was an inch away from scoring a touchdown, but got tackled at the 1 yard line. The big run against the Giants, awesome play, sensational play, but eventually he got caught after going over midfield when he ran it from like the 3 yard line. Sean Tucker's the guy that finishes the job. He gets to the end zone, and there was a lot of conversation about should Sean Tucker get more playing time. Inevitably, it didn't happen. Yeah, he got a couple of handoffs against the Giants, but do you want to see more of a rotation with this running back room?
No.
I mean, in a perfect world, it would be ideal, but it's hard because you want to make sure, your best players are out there. Bucky Irving, deserves to get majority of the carries. Rashad White, you want to see him involved in, the passing concepts, the screen game. I would love to see them all three out there at the same time. I think they did that. They did that one time against the Kansas City Chiefs. They only ran one play. It didn't go anywhere. It was I think a negative 1 yard loss. But they've run a lot of the pony personnel where they have the two running backs, and I think you'll see a lot of that this year because why not? It works. So they're gonna keep doing that. With Sean Tucker, I think you're hoping he can take those steps forward, especially in pass protection, and maybe be utilized on third downs, because when he gets the ball in the passing game, like you said, he's dangerous because in space he's so athletic. He can either run by you, or he can get, he can run through you as well. So he's just got a little bit more juice to his game, like you were mentioning. Bucky Irving is awesome. I mean, they're all three great in open field. So I think it's a really great problem to have. Unfortunately, they're not going to get all the same type of, snaps or carries. It's just really dependent on the game situation. If it was me, ideally, the Buccaneers are in the lead going into the fourth quarter, and that's where I would start to utilize Sean Tucker a little bit more. And you could use a little bit more, ground and pound, but then he also has that ability to break one and really break the game wide open. So it will be interesting to see what type of
field. All right.
If they do decide to do something like that, whether it's a rotation.
So you think he's a franchise?
Really,
huh?
Bucky and Rashad are going to carry the load.
Yeah, for sure. I love.
You think we should sign him to a long term?
I love all the different iterations you can run out of it.
You think we
well,
should
like the
extend
Scotty
him already?
touchdown, against the Lions in week 2. That
Book
was like
life?
the pony package, and they faked the screen, and then Chris went deep on it. So I'm a huge fan of the pony package, and of course Pink Pony Club. That's the hit song now. I'm sure that'll be playing in the stadium and at one point or another. And it's almost Detroit Lions-esque a little bit with wanting to ground and pound to close out the game. And I think the Saints game was a perfect example where they hardly threw the ball in that fourth quarter. And when they did, it was like a screen or a short pass, something that wasn't in harm's way. And I think that would be an ideal way to really close out games. So I can see with Josh Broussard too, like being so dependent on the opponent.
We got to cash in now because Baker about to get paid next year. So this year, I need all stars to be aligned.
The Bucky Irving game.
So you are, so you do want to pay Baker
more of Sean Tucker because he is available. And I think it'll help with Bucky too because Bucky's a tiny guy.
Because this is my thing. And again, you can keep commenting on the comment section. You can click the link on the top of the comment section and come in here and speak your mind if you want.
With the running backs.
But here's
Shot
my
White is
thing.
Fantastic as a pass blocker on passing plays, but if he's unavailable for a game,
Baker has to
I don't
show us that
really
he
know
can
who
win
is going
a
to
Super
be
Bowl.
that third down
And I don't
guy.
mean by
Because,
winning a
the
Super Bowl.
Commanders playoff game when the Bucs
We
got
won
bounced in the first
one
round,
game
They had Bucky on some third downs.
That was
and he
good
got
in the
steamrolled
playoffs.
In pass
the
block.
first year.
He can catch the
That was
screen
good.
passes and the swing passes.
Second year,
That's great,
Baker
but
kind of
that's not
struggled.
the most difficult type of
Last
player. I'm not
year,
sure how much of a
we lost
legit
that game
route
because of
runner
Baker.
Bucky
Plain and
is,
simple.
and the same
Fumbled
with
the
Sean
ball.
Tucker with the pass blocking in that situation.
Lost that
So I
game
feel
because
like
of
if there's
Baker. If
any
you don't want to say we
great
lost it because of
weakness to the
Baker,
running backs,
he was a
to
part
me,
of why we
it's
lost that game.
Who's another pass
2
blocking
times
third down running back
we're in the
if
playoffs, and I
Rashad White
feel
isn't
like
available or if he's not here after the season.
Baker is one of the weak links.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
My quarterback
that is-
cannot be
yeah,
the
I agree
weak
with
link,
that. I
and
think
the reason why we can't
with
get
Rashad,
it,
he
make
kinda
it through the
has
playoffs.
the capability to do
Can't.
everything.
I do not
he
want to
just
pay
maybe not
my
do
quarterback.
one thing as
When
well
you
as
talk
Bucky
about,
does,
oh,
which is running the
he's
football.
about to get
Bucky's
paid next
just
year, so this
ability
year I
to
need all
create,
stars to be aligned.
It's
'cause,
just very explosive.
you
His
know,
quickness
Baker's
and
about to get
obviously,
paid.
but the downside
He can't be
with
doing that.
Bucky and Sean is the pass
So what I am
protection
saying
game,
is,
ability to add that.
he needs to
that
this
other
year,
element,
and even though he
in the
does, if he
backfield, and
does it
that's
this
something
year,
you want to see.
it
Hopefully
is
can
scary,
improve,
right?
because
It
if
is.
It does, then it allows your
It
offense
really
to be
doesn't
more
mean anything,
unpredictable,
but
more
I would
versatile,
have to
and
take it.
That leads
right?
into like
This is like
Josh Williams.
Tua
He has an
and the Dolphins
opportunity to
situation
maybe
when
make
I
the
told them,
roster, and
even
that's
if he
where,
does, if
you know,
he's
you're providing
healthy
that competition
this
for Sean
year,
Tucker. Like, Sean
it's
Tucker
1
isn't
year.
guaranteed.
You're going to
I know
trick
a
yourself
lot of
into
fans
saying, well,
love him, and
it's
I'm
1
one
year,
of
but
them
we
too,
got to
but
pay him, so we got to
it's
make our
not a
decision now.
foregone
Let's
conclusion
make
that he's on
he
this
did it 1
roster
year. Let's make the
because
decision
there's
and let's
other
pay
parts of
him.
his game
That's
where
what could
this
happen
is
to
why
us.
he's the third running back on
He
the
is
depth
not the
chart. So
problem.
those are
1
factors that we
year,
have to follow suit.
and
But he also
we pay
provides
him,
that big boost
and
on
then the
special
rest of
teams.
the
I really
years
like him
he's
as
the
a
problem why we
returner,
can't
so
make it through the playoffs.
It's
So
funny. I was going
it's
to ask you, what were your
doesn't
thoughts about
mean
him
anything,
as a
right?
returner?
It doesn't prove
I thought he
anything.
did well. I thought,
But
there were
at
some moments
least
where he
give
messed
me
up, he
1
had
year. At
mistakes,
least
but,
show me
you
one
know, to
time
have the
that we go
explosive
through the
returns that he
playoffs,
did have,
we're
I
winning
think
in the playoffs,
it-
and when we
it gives you
finally
someone
lose
back there
in the
that,
playoffs,
other teams
it's
have
not
be
because of
afraid
you
of. So
contributing
that's
to the
important. It's
team
something
losing.
to, take away as we get
And if you
into,
do that,
preseason.
then
second
I
round.
feel comfortable
Do you
with
think
giving
this is
him
the
a
last go-around
an
for
extended
Rashad White in
contract.
Tampa Bay, or just the way that the NFL
If he
is going
doesn't
now,
show
you
me
kinda
that,
need a running
not
back
only
committee.
do I not
So
feel
I'm
comfortable
sure Rashad
giving him
wants to be
an
the top
extended
guy somewhere else if
contract,
he can be, but
but
not
even
a
if
lot
he
of
says,
teams in the
okay,
offense
okay,
really do
Tampa, I'll still give you another
Yeah, that
discount,
is true. I think the Bucs
I
would
will
love to
still
bring
not
back
feel good
on a,
about him
contract
getting an
extension. It just
extended
depends on
contract.
the
If
value
at
the
that
market,
point, if he
what
shows
type
us
of deal
again,
can
even
they-
if it's in the
they
second
come
round
up
of the
with, but
playoffs,
I think the team
if
loves
we
him.
lose
I think they
because
really
of
like
Baker
him as far as
Mayfield,
a player.
or he's
And obviously
big
he's a
contributor
part
of why we
what this
lost,
offense,
I'd rather
does,
just
because,
wash my hands with him
like
the
you
next
said, they
year
use a lot of that 21
and
or pony
either
personnel,
grab the
and
next quarterback
he's
that
a
we think
factor
can
for
do it,
that.
because our
And
team is
also
ready.
just his
We are
pass
there.
protection is
Our
top-notch,
team is
so
very close to
keep
being a Super Bowl
Baker,
team.
you
All
know,
we have to
Baker's
do
one of
is
your- probably
swipe
your
that
most
credit
important
card,
player on
get
offense
the
to
last
keep
piece in
him
free agency
upright.
or the last two pieces in
That's a
free
big
agency
deal.
that we know are
So
going to do the
to
job,
have Rashad out
and we're a
there,
Super Bowl
that
team.
does factor into it.
We think
It's
we could be a
crazy to me
Super Bowl
that
team
Rashad
this
White
year
is
if a couple of
the
people
longest tenured
step up,
running back
but we
in
don't
that
know.
room. I still remember
But
when he
either
came
way,
in
we're
and
right
I'm like,
there.
he should get as much playing time,
We
let him go down.
cannot afford
You know,
to
now we're all
pay
screaming for
Baker if
Bucky
he's
and-
not going
and
to
Sean
be a
Tucker, and
quarterback that could
understandably
get us
so. I
through the
mean,
playoffs.
I think
I'd
Bucky
rather
has
wash our hands with
ability
him
to be be a
and
top
either
5
give
running
Kyle
back
Trask a
in the NFL
chance
this year. Obviously, you
or
got
go
Derrick
get
Henry,
somebody else or
Saquon,
go
and
draft
we'll see
somebody
what
else
happens
and
with,
try with
Christian
them.
McCaffrey, but
Right.
man,
We
Bucky is
cannot
like, even
just
the other
sit
day, I
there
was
just
watching
because,
Bucky
oh,
highlights
he
and stuff
wins
like
one
that.
playoff
Dude is
game,
just
but
so
when it's the
electric.
second playoff game or the
Oh, he's
third
fun. Yeah,
playoff
just
game, NFC
electric.
Championship,
Like any play
he
he
loses
gets, you can't
or he
count him out.
folds.
Yeah.
If that's
You
the
know, he
problem,
just
if
has
he's
the
the reason
ability
why we
to.
can't keep getting
I think a
through,
lot of
I'm
fans
not going
don't
to sit there
probably don't realize
and
at
wait
first,
for
like,
him
how many yards he gets
to be good enough for this
before
team.
or even
That's
after
how I
contact,
feel
but,
about it.
like, he
Again,
will be able to
continue to
make
comment or
a
jump in
negative
here,
play into a positive
discuss it
play,
with
and
me,
that's-
change
that
my
is so
mind,
underrated,
whatever.
you know, to
If
not
Baker
have
has
a
another
negative
great year,
2-yard
best
rush
believe
and
he's
turn
getting a
that
new
into
contract next
4-yard
summer.
gain.
I don't
That's a
care
huge play
about the
for-
year,
for
though.
any offense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we
Baker
almost take
knows
for
he's
granted
underpaid.
that the
I
worst
agree
guy is
with
going
that.
to miss when they're trying to.
I agree that
tackle
Baker
Bucky
knows he's
Irving. He
underpaid.
does it in such
I
a-
agree.
Like it
I
doesn't
agree.
look like
I
he's
also
trying. He's obviously
believe
very-
that Baker
trying
does
very hard,
know
and
that
he's
he's
great at what he does,
performing
but
the way
he
he's
does it so
performing
flawlessly, which
because
is,
of this team
testament
and
to
these
how great
weapons.
of a
I
rookie
don't
year
believe that Baker
he had.
thinks
Of
this
course,
is
the
him. I don't
fourth
think
round
that Baker
pick,
thinks.
another time in the
I'm not
fourth
saying that
quarter.
he doesn't have
Jason
confidence in
Licht. You can
himself.
never have enough
Excuse
good
me. I'm
players
just
in the
saying,
running
I
back
think he
room
is smart
at
enough
wide
to
receiver as
understand
well. It's good to have that
if I don't have
insurance
Mike
of,
Evans and Chris
of
Godwin
talent that the Bucks do
or
on
that type of
offense.
level of
You
talent,
are working,
who knows how I'm
with
going to look.
Insurance people. There's nobody better.
I feel
to
like
work
he's
with
also
than
smart enough
Briar
to know
Reeves
that.
Insurance.
To know that maybe
If
he
you're a
should take a
longtime
pay cut if he
podcast
wants to
listener,
keep this
you
team
probably remember the
looking
late
like
great
this so
Mark
he
Sutton
can continue
talking
to look the
about
way
Briar
he
Reeves
looks.
Insurance. Pewter Report's
So,
Scott Reynolds also
going
talks
back
about
to this
that
comment, if
tonight.
Baker
He
has
says,
another
Briar
great
Reeves
year,
customers
best
for
believe he's
years,
getting a new
there
contract
simply
next
is
summer.
not a better insurance company
I
in
can't
the
say that
Bay
that's
Area.
not
So visit
true
Briar
because
Reeves
it's
Insurance
probably
to
true.
see for
I'm
yourself.
hoping that it's
Briar
not
Reeves
true.
Insurance is
I'm hoping that
family-owned.
Jason
Their
Light
main goal
is a
is
smarter
helping people.
GM than
They
that.
want to help people find
Right?
the right insurance policy
And what
for
I
you
mean by that
and
again
your
is
family. Whether
I
it's home
don't
or auto, boat
care
insurance,
how
or business
good
insurance,
you look
turn to Briar Greaves and find out why their
in the
personal
regular
touch
season.
and customer service sets them
I don't
apart.
care if you
The
win
days of waiting on hold
MVP
to speak with an
every
insurance
year.
representative that you don't even know
If
are
you're the
over.
quarterback
With Briar Greaves
that
Insurance, you'll have a
you're the
relationship with
problem
your
of the
agent
championship
to answer
team
your
that's on the
questions and
field,
advise you
you're
on
the
best
weak link, you're the reason why
As
we
two
can't get
recent
over the
hurricanes
hump
have
in the
shown all of
playoffs.
us that
I
live in
don't
the Tampa
care.
Bay area,
You
there
gotta
is a
go.
cost
We
to
have to
living
replace
in
you.
paradise. Briar
That's
Greaves
like
can help
saying-
make sure you have the right hurricane
That's like
and
saying
flood insurance to make
Devin
sure you
White
and your
is
home
one
are
of the
protected.
fastest,
Visit
one of the
Briar
best
Greaves Insurance
inside linebackers
today.
because he
That's
gets
Briar,
sacks. He got all these stats.
G-R-I-E-V-E-S.
But when playoff comes,
Call
he's
their
getting
office
picked on by
today,
them throwing the ball over his head.
813-876-4166.
He's getting picked on,
That's
you know,
813-876-4166.
when he's in coverage.
4166 and
What
tell
good
them
is all the
that
sacks
Pewter
and all these
Report
things
sent
that you
Again,
do?
ladies and gentlemen,
But when we get in the
Jason
playoffs,
Light uses
you're the
Briar
weak
Greaves.
link,
And if
and
you love Jason
you're the
Light,
reason why we keep
you want the
losing. You're the
same
reason why the
insurance
defense gives up scores.
So, shout out
Who
to our
cares?
friends
We
over
need to
at
pick
Briar
somebody that can
Greaves.
do
We
the
have,
job.
Michael Pless from Real Bucks Talk
So,
on the show today.
I
So,
get it.
just,
It could
joining
very
in.
well be
Before
the
we
reason
talk
why he
about
gets an
the
extension
wide
because he does
receivers,
good
we'll get to
again.
a couple of,
But I'm
super
hoping
chats.
my GM sees
Starting
that
with
and
Mike
understands.
Wells.
Yeah, that's
Thank you,
all
Mike,
those
$5
stats
super chat, who says, I
are
put
great.
our overall offensive
Let me
starters and depth against any
They're talking doing
offense
super
in
chat now.
football.
Let me go ahead and
Also,
mute.
really
I hope my GM sees it and says, that's great, all the stats that you got, but you're our weak link in the playoffs. We need to try to find someone that can get us over the hump in the playoffs and move on. That's what I'm, if that happens. What about when defenses allow 4 out of 5 on fourth downs? That doesn't help either. Listen, the defense was in no way our fault in that game. The defense was not the reason why we lost that game. And that is something I can debate with you all day. The defense is not the reason. First of all, you have to stop third down to get to fourth down. So think about that. How many times did Jaden Daniels and Washington Redskins had to go for it on fourth down? That's one. You force them to take big gambles. You force them to take big gambles. That's one. Number two, at the end of the game, it bit them on the butt. We were up by 3 points or 4 points. We were up by 4 points. Up by 4 points. Stopped them, got the ball back to our offense, and the offense gave the ball right back to them in our own side of the field. I think it was like 5 yards from the red zone. The offense sealed the game. What should have been a game-sealing interception or game-sealing turnover. Defense did that. got the ball back for the offense. All the offense had to do was go down the field, score a touchdown. We would be up by, what, 11 points? We'd be up by 11 points. Game over. Game over. Minimum, go down the field, right? Score a field goal. They come back, score a touchdown, tie the ball game back up. We go back and we score the game-winning field goal. At minimum, that's what should have happened. But when we got the ball for the offense to go on that game-winning drive, Baker fumbled the ball right back to them, and not even on the other side of the field, on our side of the field, 5 yards away from the red zone, and basically just gave them another 4 downs to get a touchdown. So, yeah. Light already said he wants Baker to stay in Tampa. Well, he's not gonna say anything else. Come on, guys, you can't do that. He's not gonna say anything else. He's not gonna be like, well, we have to see what he's gonna do. Of course, he's gonna say, of course, we want him to stay in Tampa. Yes, because if he's staying in Tampa, if he has the mindset that I have, and he's staying in Tampa, that means that we did good. That means he did good in the playoffs. I want him to stay in Tampa. I want Baker to stay in Tampa because, again, if Baker stays in Tampa, that means he did what he was supposed to do in the playoffs, and we still have a shot at winning a Super Bowl with him. But if we're going by my logic and he doesn't stay in Tampa, that means he wasn't able to do what he's supposed to do in the playoffs. Baker's going to take us there within the next 3 years, mark my words. I hope so, and I think it's very possible. But if he continues to show that in the playoffs he buckles or is the weak spot, it's going to be hard, even harder after we sign him to a bigger contract. It's going to be even harder. Actually, us losing to Detroit in divisional game, Baker played good there. Just Hainsey couldn't block that middle and was the reason why Baker was rushed down the middle and threw interception. So I blame Hainsey. No, I'm not blaming. I'm not blaming anybody on the O-line. I don't blame quarterbacks for rushing. I don't blame anybody on the O-line for rushing a throw. Does the O-line make somebody rush the throw? Yes. But it's still your job as a quarterback to not rush the throw, to either throw it away or take the sack. No one makes you throw the ball when you shouldn't have thrown the ball, period. They might make you rush your decision. They might make you rush your progression. All that stuff is true. That doesn't mean you have to throw the ball. That doesn't mean you have to make that decision. You can take the sack, you can throw it away, you can find somebody else. Plain and simple. You're not putting that on nobody else. That is the quarterback. Let's see. Where are we going? Let's see what they're saying right now.
1,000 yards, I don't even think it's a question. I think it's more of when is he going to get the 1,000 yards? Is it going to be dramatic in the last game of the season, or can he get it a little bit
Mike
earlier?
Evans and the 1,000 yards.
Josh Broussard will go about utilizing Mike Evans this upcoming.
That's another thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
Josh
I think you're going to
Broussard.
see it probably in a lot of variety of ways.
Let's go ahead and mute that. So Josh Broussard is one of the 5 things that can make our season go wrong, right? But I wanted to speak about this because even though I stand by what I said and think that he can definitely derail our season, there is a really good feeling around Josh Broussard. There's a really good feeling around him in this what do you call it? In this season, this team. People have really high praises for him, and it's not PR talk. Again, I'm really good with vibes, which is why I'm always ahead of the curve when it comes to this team. I know I can tell when people are just gaslighting. I can tell when people are just lying or whatever. they really do, and I'm talking about the players, not the coaches. They really do, but the coaches as well. But they really do they really are impressed by Josh from last year, not even this year, just from what he was doing last year, and they're really interested to see what he can do. So I'm kind of like, I kind of have high hopes for Grizzard. So we'll see what happens, man. But yeah, I just wanted to speak on that a little bit.
Matchup. So I think more vertical shots will definitely help him as far as getting more yards and hopefully, be over 1,000.
Hainsey missed
the last game
the whole block.
Yeah, that was awesome what happened against the Saints, but I don't want to deal with that.
Football, man, it
I want it
happens.
to be done like week 16,
It happens.
maybe even week 15, who knows.
So if Baker
how
took the
it'll go.
sack
And,
and
yeah, it's
fumbled
funny.
still on
Mike
Baker, yes.
Mike doesn't talk
Hold on
a
to the ball.
ton the way that
Your
Chris
job
Godwin
is to
speak
hold
every
on.
week
Your
and
job
go
is to
to work
protect
and
the
stuff
football.
like that. But when he does talk,
It's your job.
at least
Protect
a couple
the
times a
football.
year, he's like, yes,
You're the
I love
quarterback.
when teams
No
play
matter what
me
goes
man to
wrong,
man, 'cause I don't get it that
your
much,
job
but
is
when
to
I
protect
do,
the quarterback.
I go off. And I still
protect
don't
the
understand
football.
why teams
Period.
try to go one-on-one with him unless you got
Bill
top
Belichick
corner in this league, which will make
said why Tom Brady is the GOAT. Tom Brady is the GOAT because he is good at not making negative plays. Whether the wide receiver messed up, whether the lineman messed up, whether it was a bad offensive play call, no matter what it was, Tom Brady was good at saying, you know what, I'm not going to make this play worse than what it is. Or I'm not going to let this play be a bad play. Let me throw this away. Let me take this sack. Let me, whatever it was, and not turn over the ball. That's what Belichick said makes Tom Brady great. Protecting the football. I don't care if someone completely whiffed on the block. Your job is to protect the football. Period. Period, period, period. Now, again, who the heck is here? I'm not saying that the O-line doesn't affect quarterback play. Obviously, it does. It still doesn't affect you doing your job. Your job is to not do negative plays. Take the sack. Just because you took a sack, don't mean you fumbled the ball. Your job is to protect the football. Period.
Jets Bucks week 3, a lot of fun because you got Sauce.
A lot of progression late last year, and I think that will continue. And with him and Abuka, and you hope Chris Godwin can be healthy. I mean, it's very dangerous, and not to mention like the guys behind those people, like those four, you still have talented receivers that can come in and make something happen. So it's a very good group. And yeah, I can't wait to see how they utilize, all these pieces.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit of a trickle-down effect. We know Mike's wide receiver 1, and obviously Chris Godwin on 20 other teams is wide receiver 1. But I do feel it's a trickle-down effect between Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, and Emeka Egbuka as well. Everyone said that Emeka Egbuka is a carbon copy of Chris Godwin. But the reason I say it's a trickle-down effect, because we don't know if Chris Godwin is going to be playing in week 1. I think the fact that, he's not even running outside, or at least wasn't running outside when we were at mandatory minicamp last week. I don't know if he's going to be ready for the start of the regular season. I think this is a different situation than in 2022 when he was coming back from the torn ACL. And
yeah, I don't know if he's going to be ready for week 1 either.
He got rushed back a little bit. How long do you think the Bucs can go without Chris Godwin if he does have to miss a little bit of time, with relying on certainly Mike, but for me, Jalen McMillan and Emeka Egbuka? And do you see McMillan as wide receiver 3, or do you see Egbuka as wide receiver 3?
Yeah, I think with Godwin, I think they would be okay to probably survive like the first month of the season. I wouldn't be surprised like if they decided to, like, they get to the final roster and they're like, well, he's just not 100%. They decide to put him on the short-term, IR.
Yeah.
And bring him back after, week 4 or what have you. I think they're in a very good spot because Jalen McMillan and Egbuka, I think Egbuka will probably be the wide receiver 3 it's kind of like they're both going to play. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like 3A, 3B. You know, Mecca is just so
Right.
talented. I think he's going to bring a lot of different things because he can play outside or inside. Same thing with McMillan. They give you a lot of versatility there. So it's just a really good problem to have, and it's going to create that competition. So, you know, with Mike, Jalen, and Emeka, I think you have to feel confident. And maybe, you know, we talk about some of the other guys here like Trey Palmer. Maybe he has type of a resurgence in this offense because there is more vertical, you know, aspects, and maybe that's something that opens him up a little bit more. I know, like, you know, Sterling Shepard still on the team. I think he's a decent vet. I see him as a very good fifth receiver option, and if he is that, then that's fine. Tez Johnson, I think they have a lot of high hopes for. He's kind of like, it's going to be between him and Cameron Johnson, like that. They're trying to find that little gadget type player that they can utilize, you know, quick underneath option that can make people miss, get the yak yards, you know, do some vertical aspects. But they have a really good room, you know, from 1 to 6 or however many receivers they're going to keep. That will be the interesting tale. Like Ryan Miller, you know, very underrated last year.
Made the
well.
touchdown catch, against the Chiefs. They should have went for 2.
I know Raheem Jarrett, you know, Raheem Jarrett's been here for a little bit. I know they're still kind of holding out hope for him. So we'll just have to see, you know, what happens.
Yeah,
But
he's gone. Raheem Jarrett is gone.
You feel very confident in, and you have other guys in that mold that can step in if needed, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the top 4 are all set, but it is an absolute dogfight for.
Yeah.
I think the Bucs have to keep 6 just based on the talent alone. And if they put Chris Godwin on the PUP list or injured reserve, that opens a spot as well. But yeah, I was trying to like do the math in my head or try to, you know, kind of piece together this puzzle, because let's remember Sterling Shepard was on the practice squad last year to begin the season. I think he's going to be around regardless because, hey, let's face it, he's good friends with Baker Mayfield, and it's not a bad idea to keep your starting quarterback a happy person. So I think he's going to be around. Man, it's tough with the Johnsons, with Tez Johnson. That's where special teams comes into play as well. But I definitely don't envy Jason Light with this decision, because Raheem Jarrett too is a guy like, to me, he kind of reminds me of like Tyler Johnson a little bit. Like I thought Tyler Johnson was going to be more. For
I don't
the Bucs,
think.
and ultimately he wasn't. He's actually carving out a pretty good second act with the Rams. But you know, we had that moment against the Saints in the playoffs in 2020. But I was waiting for a little bit more from Tyler Johnson. It never happened, and I feel like we're getting that with Raheem Jarrett. I know he was an undrafted free agent, but could just never stay healthy, never really get an opportunity based on all the talent in front. But
I don't think
there's
it's
a
going to
lot
be
of
hard
good-
at all.
I think the Bucs are going to be able to stash all of them on the practice squad. I think one of those guys is going to end up on another team just based on the competition in that room.
I think Tez Johnson
I'd agree
is
with that. I
exactly
wouldn't be
what they've been
surprised
trying to
if
make
they
other
still
people,
add to
and
that
Tez
room,
Johnson
you know,
is already
something
that.
comes available. It wouldn't shock me.
And I think it's going to be
but
very
they
easy
have
to
a
see.
really good group. I think
Trey
you're
Palmer,
excited
there's
about,
nobody else with Trey Palmer's
you know, the
speed, so he's
upside
got
of
to
it.
make the.
I think it has a lot of potential.
I want to
and
say he's
hopefully,
got to make the
you know,
team,
guys
but
can stay
I'm pretty
healthy,
sure he makes the
and
team
we'll
because
just
nobody
have
else
to see.
that
I
has
think,
that speed that Trey Palmer has.
you know, you
Trey
mentioned
just-
Sterling Shepard.
just
It
straight
wouldn't surprise
speed.
me, like if he starts the year again.
Nobody else
on the
has that.
practice
Yeah.
squad. That wouldn't shock
Tez
me at
is
all.
exactly
Maybe
what
keep-
everybody's been
Maybe you keep
trying to
Trey Palmer,
find and
maybe,
create
you know,
from
keep
these
one of
other guys.
on the roster. Cameron
And
Johnson, maybe they
Sterling
keep both
Shepard is just
Tez
another
and
pro.
Cameron on
Yeah.
the
So I
team,
think that's what
and
it's going to
go it
be.
that way and see.
Atlas
kinda
is
get
in the
the-
building. What up, Atlas? Yo,
And then
Artie,
once
just
this
hopping
comes
in while work is starting to wind down here. Hope it's been a good stream. It's
Yeah,
been
that's a-
okay.
that's a down the
Got
road
5
type
people
of
watching,
thing.
6 people watching.
Sure. I got another super chat
know,
from Mike Wells.
Waiting for some people to come in here and like
Really
start a
curious if you
conversation,
guys
but
think
no one
Devin
wants to
Colt
jump in here as
be
usual.
tight end too. Well,
you
great
know.
timing because we're going to talk about
But
the tight end.
if I
room
close this,
for
I might,
the Tampa
you
Bay
know,
Buccaneers, which
because I don't think
really
I'm
didn't
going to work
change. The Bucs
tomorrow
didn't
either.
dress tight end
I
in
got my
free
car in the
agency.
shop.
They didn't go about
They
it
haven't called me at all
in,
today.
The draft.
So,
Still Kate Otten, Payne Durham, and
wait,
Devin
no,
Colt,
they
who
text
had a
me.
nice end of the season. Certainly wasn't incredible, but
No,
you
they
know, put it
haven't hit me
together
up yet.
towards the end.
So I'm
of
basically
the year.
waiting for
Kate Otten
the
is
dealership to
text me about my
It's
car or
apples
call
and
me about
oranges
my
'cause it's
car
offense and defense,
so I can
but
go
to
get
me,
my
Kate
car.
Otton is going to be like
But
Anthony
they
Wilson,
haven't
where he's
did
just
it
going to
yet.
be around for a very
So
long time,
I'm
quite reliable. I know
thinking
he
that
is
I'm
a
probably
free
not
agent
working
after this
tomorrow
season.
either because I
He's going
can't
to
go
tight
work
end
without
U
my
this
car.
year, which I'm very excited
And
about. There hasn't really been a lot of Bucks
yeah,
representation at tight end U besides
so
Gronk
that's what's happening. So
co-hosting and stuff like that.
basically, what I'm saying is I'm not
But
going to
give
go
me
to
your
sleep
thoughts
early
about the
today.
tight ends.
So
Can Kate Otton elevate his
if I
game?
come
What
on
are your
later
thoughts
on
Payne
and I
Durham?
see other
Can
people
Devin
are,
Cope be another Arsenal
doing something, I
weapon
might jump
for
on here
Josh
again
Broussard
today
in the offense this year?
and see if anybody wants to
Yeah, I
come
think
on and
if
talk
you
some
follow
talk.
me at
You
Real
know what I'm
Bucks
saying?
Talk, you will know that I'm a big component of Kate Otton. I loved him coming out of the draft that year in 22. I thought, Bucks could have easily taken him on, the second or the third round. Like I was really high on him, but to get him in the fourth round, such a steal. And that makes sense comparing him to Anthony Nelson, who is also a fourth round pick. They're just very consistent at what they do. They're not going to give you a lot of flair, but they just do their job. And he's really improved. Like the blocking aspects of his game got really better last year. I thought he was more consistent there. And for the most part, he's very reliable in the catching department, and he does a good job of just finding space underneath to be an outlet for Baker Mayfield. So I'm really excited to see what he can do in his, let's see, what is he going, year 4, I think?
Yeah,
this is?
fourth year.
Yeah. So he's in a contract year. I mean, I think he could do very well, especially with all the attention that the receivers are going to get, the running backs, etc. Yeah. The backups, as far as like Devin Culp, I would like to see him challenge for that tight end 2 position. I think Payne Durham is a very solid tight end 3 that you bring in to help you in the run game, to help you do some different things in the red zone. And then O'Keefe, it just remains like if they want to utilize a fullback option, because really I think that's where he's best suited for. I know he does a lot of things on special teams, that all plays into it. But with Devin, I think that upside is there. Like he could be
Sounds
that
good,
true
man. Hope you take it easy the next few days.
F
Thank you,
tight
sir.
end,
Appreciate
the
it.
moving tight end, where he can do a lot
You too.
of
You do the same, man.
differently than what you have above him as far as the athleticism and the
Yeah, I'm
the
telling you, I
vertical
think
options.
I think
Yeah,
Devin
I
Cope,
think the potential for
his
Devin
upside
is really up there.
is
The-
Kyle
the
Pitts,
tight
bro.
end room as
What
a
they
whole is probably
think
a little bit weaker
Kyle
on
Pitts
as
should
far
have
as
been.
depth, because you just don't know what these guys can do other than Kate Otton. We saw little glimpses of it.
Hold on,
when
I
Cade was
might
out,
need to
but,
take that back because
you
people
know,
thought Kyle
it's,
Pitts was going to be.
It's a room that I think can
crazy.
be consistent and not hurt you in that regard.
Yeah,
that might
Payne
be
Durham
too much because
and,
Kyle Pitts was supposed to be
and
like
Devin Culp did a pretty good job when Kate Otton was out for.
Yeah, let me
I
not put
almost
Kyle
wish you
Pitts
could
on it. And I've been
combine,
saying that too.
like,
Maybe I
the
should hold back on
physicality
that
and the
because
blocking of Payne
when
Durham
Kyle
with the
Pitts came
receiving
out, he was
prowess that
supposed to
Devin
be
Culp
that
has to
dude, like
make
for
them
real.
one tight end. I
So,
think that would be a good combo.
let's pull
right
that
there.
back.
I
Let's
don't know
say
if Culp is going to challenge this year for the tight end 2 after Payne Durham, just because we know he can be a pretty good receiver, but I don't know if he could be that, line up on the line of scrimmage type of tight end and really get in the dirt and get physical. I think that's going to be the next maturation of his game as he goes into year 2. But we'll see, in training camp, if he's able to show that he can block a little bit more. I think, he certainly has the speed at times.
Kellen Winslow Jr. Let's go there.
He's clutch.
Woo, I
Remember he
pulled
scored
that
that
out.
game-winning touchdown
I
to Tom
pulled
Brady
that
last
out.
season. He seems to
I pulled
have
that
some
out.
big-time moments, and that's what you need from Kate Otton, because we talk about how great these running backs are, and Baker, and obviously the wide receivers.
No worries, man. No worries.
reality is there's
We
just
here.
not
No
going to
worries. We
be
here.
A ton of
Yeah.
targets for these tight ends.
Kellen
because you're
Winslow
gonna wanna go
Jr.
to Mike and Chris and Emeka Egbuka, and that's fine. The Bucks don't.
That's who
need,
Devin Cope can
certainly
be.
you would like to have Rob
Kellen
Gronkowski, but they
Winslow
don't need
Jr.
like their Gronk in this offense specifically, because that's not how they're wired. They weren't as good of a running team,
Let's
when
see if we
Gronk was
can-
here. And
let's see
said
if we get
himself,
some
blocking tight
highlights.
end, baby. That was his line over and over again. So while I do think the tight ends are the weakest group, they're not like a terrible group. It's just the sum of all the parts of all the other positions kind of puts the tight ends in this room. I also think Payne Durham, curious to get your thoughts on this. I thought he was pretty good in the red zone, where he can be a Cam Brate type of red zone player, where like maybe he's not getting it done in between the 20s, but Payne Durham to me is a good option in the red zone.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's someone that they can utilize if need be.
The Cleveland Browns
and,
have traded
with
Kellen Winslow to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers
usage
for a
of the
couple
running
of
game
undisclosed draft
and
choices. I'm
how
going to guess right
Broussard
now
wants
it's
to
some
call it,
combination
there's going to
of
be
a
a
2 and a
lot
5,
more.
a 3 and a
I think you're
6,
going to see a lot
something
more
in that range.
outside
Cleveland had been
runs
looking
in
to
this
deal
unit
Kellen
where
Winslow
a lot more
before the
tossing
trade
plays,
deadline
a lot
last
of
year. They
moving parts to get
Let's see.
defenses going one way and trying to get the edge
Oh,
and try to
man.
get outside to
Left
create
switch.
those explosives. But yeah, Payne, I think, can be that type of guy that you can use in the red zone, use in play action situations, and hopefully, catch some touchdowns. But again, he's not going to be that first call because they have so many other guys that are going to be the main targets. But definitely, if they get in like a goal-to-goal situation, he can be someone there that can create a mismatch or two.
That's what I
We
think
got
Delvin
one
Cook
more
could be.
position to talk about, and we know these guys like to eat, so this is a good time to talk about our friends over at Walk-Ons.
What an amazing comeback, Coach. You're not kidding. I mean, we did lose the game badly. Coming to walk-ons afterward.
Tight ends, man. A lot of tight ends be crazy, bro.
Walk-ons for the win.
A lot of tight ends are
Shout out to
crazy.
Walk-Ons. There are 3 in the Tampa Bay area, one over in Lakeland,
Freeman.
another in Weston Chapel, and a third in Midtown Tampa, not far at all from Raymond James Stadium. And now that all the other sports are done, you're counting down the clock until football returns. Love the atmosphere at Walk-Ons.
Freeman gets the pass away wide open.
Great
By
food,
Kellen Winslow, 40.
fantastic
Winslow makes the guy miss to the 45 to the 50. Winslow to the 45 to the 40. Big play, Kellen Winslow.
Mistakes by Tampa Bay. We've been a lot tighter game than 17-3.
Now the defense will try and hold it. They cannot as the catch is made by Winslow on 3rd down and 7. And he takes it all the way down to the 35-yard line of New Orleans. A 35-yard pass.
The best team in baseball, and they just win nonstop.
If there was, I don't know what it is, but
of course, when the Bucs are playing, check out your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Watch them over at Walk-Ons. Eat like a winner, drink like a champ.
yeah, I don't know, man. I
think the
I was
Bucs
gonna
have a
say Josh
championship
Freeman was the one
offensive
quarterback
line
I wish
with-
would have
I mean, all across the
panned
board, we know
out
how
for us,
great
but I do
Tristan
wish
Wirfs
James
is,
would have
but of
panned out
course
for us
Gedeke
too. So
as well,
I don't know.
Graham Barton at center.
Random Michael Clayton
and,
sighting
Ben
there,
Bredesen
dang,
and
it's
Cody
nostalgic
Mount.
lane,
I
yeah.
think each got married this weekend, so congrats to
Yeah.
Ben Bredesen and congrats to Cody Mauch as
But
well. But I think this is going to be the driving force.
yeah, that's
of
I
the
feel
offense,
way
because they're gonna be
better
able to do
saying
anything.
that.
They can pass block.
Kellen
they can run
Winslow
block.
Jr. was a dog.
They're going to impose their will
And
on some teams this year.
I think that's what Delvin Cook
Yeah,
could be.
I think
I definitely think
we
that's what
talked
Delvin
about
Cook
most
could be.
important position. It starts with Baker Mayfield on the quarterback, which
I think that's what
which is
Delvin
why
Cook
we
could be.
probably started
Now
with that
Kyle
first,
Pitts
But when you talk about
is not
probably
even
most important position group.
I
it's
mean, Kyle
offensive
Pitts
line.
is basically.
You got to have a very good offensive line. and the
I'd
Bucs
take Cade
definitely
Otten over Kyle
have
Pitts.
a top 5 unit.
You know what I'm saying?
The
Like
starters
Cade
are
Otten's
set.
gonna
You
block
have a
and
really
give you
good
some
group from left
numbers
tackle to
too.
right tackle.
You know, I'm not
your
that. I'm not
interior
that.
of the offensive line, I think,
Kyle
should
Pitts
be
is
able
a
to
bust
take
for where he was
major
picked.
steps forward.
Where he was picked,
Cody Mock
he's a
going
bust.
from year 1
For
to
sure.
year 2 last year.
Yeah.
He showed significant strides, and now you're hoping the same thing happens with Graham Barton. If that does, and these guys continue to ascend,
If Graham Barton
that's
takes
not
another
only gonna
stride
help Ben
or
Bredesen
takes a stride
be even
year
better
2,
because
like
he doesn't have to worry
Mayock
about
did,
Graham
whew.
Barton as much. He can kind of focus in on what he has to do on his side. So there's just a lot of there's just so much upside with this offensive line, even though they've been playing, all of them have seasons under their belt, which is great. And Luke Gedeke at right tackle has been awesome. Probably going to do a film study on him coming up here on the channel. I mean, he's just awesome. And Tristan Wirfs, best tackle in the league. So to have stud bookends on your offensive line, that's a huge thing that I think a lot of fans don't appreciate or not see how important that is, because having that, it just allows you to do so much as far as an offense goes. So I think they're in really good hands, and that starting 5 is going to be one of the best if healthy.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. Of course, Tristan Wirfs gets the headlines, but I legitimately think Luke Gedeke, and I'm hoping, obviously, we all want Tristan Wirfs to win Protector of the Year. It's a new award for the offensive line, but I hope they're able to kind of market it the right way. And I think Tristan Wirfs, if he wins the award, he's certainly going to be in the running for it. I hope that it will impact the rest of the offensive line as well. Well, they'll be able to get their shine. I mean, Grant Barden, I think, has the potential to be an all-pro center eventually. Probably not this season, but now that Frank Ragnow is retired, there's an opening for someone to be an elite NFC center.
OJ Howard, man, good Lord, that was
years, as well. But I think
there was another one too.
The Bucs obviously like
that I had big hopes on. Austin, remember Austin Seferian-Jenkins? I thought he was, man.
The last 2 years, and
he showed
he's pretty
glimpses
hardcore and gnarly as an offensive lineman as well.
Especially that one year. I think it was his second year.
Can really be at his best. But I'm with you as well. I'm very excited to see this tape you're going to have of Luke Goedeke, because to me, the offensive line certainly is the unsung hero itself, but specifically, Luke Goedeke is the guy that has to deal with the best pass rusher every week because they don't want to line him up against Tristan Wirfs. And, game in and game out, he goes balls to the wall. He loves defending Baker Mayfield when someone tries to give him a hard time. Jason Light picked him. He's the guy that he wants backing him up in a fight if he gets into a street fight. Luke Goedeke, I hope, can get into, I essentially call it the circle of trust of there's only so many household offensive lineman names that NFL fans know. Tristan Wirfs is certainly it. Lane Johnson is certainly in it. And I think Luke Goedeke may have the potential to get in as well with another standout season. And, he's one of those guys as well that is going into a contract year. It's him, Zion, and Cade Otton. Between those three, I'm putting Luke Goedeke at the top of the player that I would want signed to an extension first.
Yeah, I think, out of those you mentioned, he's just been very consistent.
This offense is way
and he's gotten better every year. So I think you want to see him continue to show that progression, and hopefully he can earn, himself
we would
like
use
a Pro
him
Bowl,
more down the field, which
honors,
would unlock him more.
As a backup, probably going to be a backup because you have Lane Johnson there as your right.
He's got to
tackle.
lock down until he retires. He's going to have to wait his turn a little bit, but it's on the horizon for Luke.
Yeah, but maybe he can get in as a Pro Bowl alternate. I don't know if they would.
All right, well, I'm gonna go heat up some
Tristan
food,
Wirfs to
go
make the Pro
eat,
Bowl,
and
so
like I
it's
said,
kinda
I'll be
probably,
looking around.
It's tough for him. But
See if anybody's
I can
live.
see him eventually being that Pro Bowl tackle because he's
Maybe
got
see
that
if somebody
type of
wants to
upside,
jump
and
on live.
You just want to
talk a little
continue to see
bit.
him progress. It's crazy how he went.
I definitely want to
from a player that
I ain't
the
got nothing
fans
else to
didn't
do all
like
day
at
today, baby.
because he just wasn't good at guard. And you thought he might be on the way out, but he starts that last game of the year at tackle, and everything from there just kind of clicked, and he's been sensational.
Yeah, it's been an incredible story arc for Luke Goedeke. You almost forget about that. That Steelers game.
Anyways, I'll see you guys. Probably see you guys in a couple hours.
Now he's
If
playing
not,
at
then
a
it is
Pro
what it
Bowl
is.
level at right tackle.
It is, your man.
Yeah, wide receiver might be the deepest, but
these people
offensive line might be. I mean, physically.
RTP here with Pewter and Red Podcast, and hey, man, let people know. Hey, our RTP's coming back. Let's get on. Let's do something. Let's get some Buccaneers talk tonight. Let's get like a Buccaneer roundtable or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back on tonight if I don't work. If I don't get my car and I don't work, I'm gonna come back on tonight and see if we can get some little Buccaneer roundtable, something going on, man, where we can talk some Bucks. All right, we out, deuce.